Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are delighted to welcome you to the India Japan Environmental Business Promotion Seminar. The event is organized by the Ministry of Environment Japan and supported by FICCI, the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, the Japanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, and the Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, as well as the Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center, Japan. My name is Apurva Singh, and I'll be your host for the event today. I work for the Energy and Resources Institute. The morning session will introduce the outline of the joint crediting mechanism and its case studies. After the lunch break, we have the introduction of the GHG mitigation technologies, followed by a panel discussion and the high level speech. Today, we will also have the business networking session in the Royal Room. All the programs are filled with exciting and great content. We hope to sorry we hope you make the most of this opportunity and explore collaboration opportunities towards decarbonized and sustainable society in India. Without further ado, we are moving on to the first program, the inaugural session. It is my great honor to welcome Mr. No Saturo, Director, Office of International Carbon Market, Global Environment Bureau, Ministry of Environment, Government of Japan. Mr. No, the floor is yours.
Namaste. Konnichiwa. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for gathering here. My name is Satoru Ino. I'm a director for the Office of the Joint Crediting Mechanism and International Carbon Market, covering all the market mechanism, including those that use Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Firstly, let me express my sincere appreciation to Terry, the Energy and Resource Institute of India, particularly Mr. Rajani Ranjan Rashmi, the distinguished fellow and former special secretary of Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Climate Change of India. And thank you very much for your keynote speech that is coming. I'm very delighted to open this seminar with this keynote speech by the distinguished fellow. And also, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to FITCI, and also particularly Mr. Manish Sharma, who is going to conclude this 5 hours long day session at the high level speech in the end of this session before going to business networking. And also, perhaps it's going to take more than an hour to name all the institutions who are involved in this seminar. But perhaps let me please allow me to name some of the institutions that kindly hosted and planned and operated this event. So I'd like to thank OECC, Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center, and also IGES, Institute for Global Environmental Studies. Institute for Global Environmental and Environmental Strategy. And also quite a number of institutes that are working for JCM operation, Pacific Consultants, ADB, and OECC, IGS, other institutes involved with JCM operation to facilitate implementation of JCM projects over the world, including 29 countries, perhaps in the future, near future, India 30s, perhaps, or Malaysia, Brazil. So it's going to be more friends over the world. So it means the fact that many institutions are involved is the fact it shows that JCM needs careful examination and careful operation beyond the sectors, beyond national boundary, and, uh, and all the possible mitigation activities are covered by JCM. So that's why we need multiple stakeholders involvement. So today we are going to learn from each other different diverse range of activities, including those which are already implemented over the world, Indonesia, Thailand, Mongolia, and sorts of other partner countries of JCM. And also, particularly in the afternoon, we're going to listen to some ideas, plans, technologies, services that can be applied in India, particularly using JCM framework. So, um, India, Japan, the cooperation between India and Japan, and cooperation between beyond the sectors, there are um, numerous points to talk about during the day. So, um, lastly, but not least importantly, only on the matter of signature of JCM framework between India and Japan. I actually before we opened this event, I came here before 10, and I've been asked more than 10 questions about when we are ready, when you are going to sign something like that. But no one can foresee. But while waiting for the signature, it's a final pitch in internal process in the government, rather than just waiting and when, asking when and when. Let's get started. So let's get prepared. So today's event is, of course, the title is India Japan Environmental Business Promotion Seminar. But it's, in other words, that business promotion should be a sort of a preparation to get started to operate JCM. So lots of projects can be applied under JCM. And also, we need understanding, we need to share understanding of how it works. So let us get started by sharing our thoughts and
A very good morning to all of you, and in the spirit of today's morning, konnichiwa and namaste. Mm, uh, I am really privileged to be here with you. I was with this August gathering about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, at a similar event organized by the IGS, the OECC, FICI, and of course, Terry was a partner there. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you today morning. We have in TERI, we have long-standing relationship with our Japanese friends in IGES. We work very closely with them on the issues of environmental management, environmental protection, climate change, climate policies, low carbon policies now. So it's a great occasion, since we are a different cross section of people are here, people from the investor community, people from the people who are actually working in the field at the level of industries, and who are acting as think tanks and policy makers and business organizations. Uh, when we talk about India-Japan cooperation, particularly in the field of low carbon development cooperation perspective, a number of things come to our mind. So I have put together a few slides which will help us focus our thoughts on those issues. Um, but just before that, let me give you a snapshot of what I intend to do. When we talk about cooperation, particularly at two countries level, India, Japan, not only between the governments, but also between the business and the investor community, we need to look at the potential of bilateral cooperation and the interests which each partner has. So, okay. What I wanted to do was to look at the potential first. What is it that we are talking about in terms of emission reductions, which we can do, together, and then the current policies which we are implementing in India. Then we have gone ahead. We have gone a little beyond the short-term policies. Now we are looking at the policies in the long term. So long term, what is the potential? And finally, the next steps. So let's look at where India and Japan stand. India is of course the third largest emitter today after if you break the European Union, then you don't talk about them. But if you take them together, then they are still ahead of us. But India is a large player as far as emissions globally are concerned. But you look at the share still is very small. Although our government statistics tells us that we are emitting about 3.2 billion tons a year at the moment. Of course, China and US are far ahead of us. And Japan is closely behind us. It's about 1.5 or 1.6 billion tons today, which is 3% of the global, and we are 5% of the global. So together we make about 8% or approaching 10% now. And this is what the government of India tells us. There are a number of international agencies which do not actually agree with this figure. They say that India's emissions are a little higher than this, but the reason is different. The reason why the statistics differs is because India's forests act as a sink. They bring down our total emissions. In fact, India is one of the unique countries in the world where forests are actually acting as a sink and not as an emitter, not like Indonesia or Congo or Brazil, where deforestation is taking place. So we have stabilized our forests. I mean, our forests are not great. I must say that the Japanese forests are really great, but nonetheless, our forests are now stable, and that's the reason why our emissions are contained at a level lower than what the international estimates are. And you can see, look at the source of these emissions. Mostly it is energy, almost 75%. Then 14% is from agriculture, about then another from from the industrial processes. So obviously we need to focus as far as energy is concerned, where bilateral cooperation is concerned. And this is proved by the fact that the energy market is growing. The the primary energy demand in India is growing at a fantastic pace. And as you can see, although the renewables are now occupying a large share, but the total energy demand in the last 3 decades has tripled, and it is going to triple again further by 2050. So there is a huge increase in the energy demand from all possible sources in India. At this rate, if the energy demand continues at this rate, it's quite likely that India's emissions may touch a level of 7 billion tons by the middle of the century. And that's the projection which our energy modelers in India make. And this is despite the fact that India has a much larger aspiration. India has an aspiration to become a developed country by 2047. I have not taken that into account. If we factor that into account, I think the emissions level will still be higher in business as usual scenario. But obviously, we are not talking about business as usual. We are now talking about a net zero scenario, where all the countries are working together to move their emissions trajectory at a level which forces them down to zero or near net zero by the middle of century or by 2070, as is the case in India. So the point that I wanted to make was, in the business as usual scenario, considering the energy demand that India is experiencing, our emissions are going to touch in the range of 7 to 8 billion tons, and you can look at the potential of cooperation here. So let's look at the current policy goals now. The evolution of our policy, there are 5 distinct phases here. Our conscious policy in the field of uh, regulating the emissions or making a change began in 2008. We are now in the year 2025, but in between, the critical stage was reached in 2015 when we had the nationally determined contributions, or so-called short-term goals, by 2030. Then came the net zero goal in 2021. So let's look at the short-term goals first. These are the short-term goals which India has. We will bring down the emissions intensity of our GDP by 45% by the end of this decade. Similarly, we will install 50% of the total electricity generation capacity from renewable, non-fossil fuel sources by the end of this decade. And we will also create an additional sink in the forests to the extent of 3 billion tons by the end of this decade. So these are the 3 primary goals which government has set out for itself. And you will be happy to know that our progress is extremely good. India as a country must feel satisfied and very happy at the global stage when it is recognized. In fact, there is a NGO in Germany, the German Watch, who are the largest, who are a very reputed think tank globally, and they have rated India's performance as one of the best amongst the G20 countries as far as NDC is concerned. So my Japanese friends, I'm sure, would be proud of our cooperation with India. We are doing well, but there is a large potential of doing much more than this. Our emissions reduction intensity has fallen already by 32%. In fact, after COVID, in the year 2020 and 21 and 22, we had COVID. So all economies all over the world went down. So in fact, if you take that into account, then the emission reduction is still larger. It's around 36%. But I am discounting that. I am discounting the COVID impact. So after discounting it, the impact is about 32%. So hopefully by the end of the decade, we will reach 45% and perhaps more. This is also reflected in the power sector capacity additions. Today, the renewable energy capacity has reached 43% of our total electricity generation capacity. We have about 442 gigawatts uh, total capacity in the country, of which 211 comes from renewable sources: solar, wind, nuclear, hydro, all put together. Not just variable, but also the nuclear and the hydro, all put together. And you can see the graph, the way the investment in solar PV and wind is rising. It is something to be talked about, but there is a long way to go here. But there is a message here, the message which I'll talk about in the last slide. Investments also are growing, just like capacity additions are growing. I mean, obviously, without investment, the capacity additions cannot take place. So investments are equally rising, and you can see that the investment in renewable energy has exceeded the investment in fossil fuels. And in fact, you will be happy to see that the coal as a share, the coal-fired electricity as a share in the total electricity has remained static for the last 8 to 9 years. That's something to be happy about. So these are the short-term goals which we have. Practically, we are on way to meeting, and our capacity additions as expected are taking place. But there is much more work to be done, because we are now moving towards a net zero goal, not just making a transition in terms of energy, but net zero goal. So what does that imply and what kind of policy measures we are thinking about? So in the power sector itself, there are two or three major developments that have taken place. One, the government has put out a target of not 500 gigawatt, but 1180 gigawatts by 2050. By that time, the energy demand will be triple of what we have today. And there is already a renewable purchase obligations on the distribution companies that is going to be added with a renewable energy consumption mandate for the industries. We already have an energy efficiency mandate that will be coupled with renewable energy consumption mandate. It's going to come very soon. And we have investment in the grids, in the transmission corridors. In fact, the Indian Railways has said that they will become neutral by 2030. Neutral whether in terms of energy consumption or transport, I'm not sure, but this is what they have stated. So in the renewable energy sector, a lot more developments are coming. In addition, we have made substantial policy changes in the low carbon fuels, which are alternative fuels. Hydrogen, a national hydrogen mission has been set up with 5 billion tons production capacity by 2030. The gas share is going to be 15% of the total energy by 2030, by the end of the decade. Biofuel, you are well aware that we have a blending norm of 20%, and accompanied with that, our production capacity is being raised through many policy measures. Nuclear, it had nuclear had fallen out of sight in many countries, including India, for quite some time, but nuclear is making a comeback. Now, US is now to a part of the nuclear, tripling the nuclear energy coalition. India is still not a part because India is has to grapple with different kinds of difficulties there. But we have an ambition now to create a capacity of 100 gigawatt with nuclear. Today it is just about 12 gigawatt or something, 4% in the total electricity generation. We have an ambition to raise it to 100 gigawatts by the middle of century, and almost $2.5 billion investment has already been committed by the government for this purpose, and 5 SMRs are also being targeted. There are other sectors where fuel efficiency norms and Bharat 6 or what is called Euro 6 norms are already in place. There are incentives being given for passenger segment of the vehicle, the buses, two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Recent budget, the minister did announce a number of duty exemptions for the raw materials for the electric vehicle industry. Shipping side, there is a large movement now in terms of greening of the ports and thinking about how our ports can develop bunkering facility for newer fuels like methanol or LNG or green hydrogen. So there is already a large infrastructure investment going to take place there. In the aviation side, India is going to become a part of Corsia from next year, when our aviation industry will take a commitment not to exceed 2019 levels of emissions. And then we will have a very large impetus or requirement of SAF, sustainable aviation fuels, because the only way the aviation industry can become net zero is either by SAF or sequestering its emissions or by buying credits. So SAF naturally is the most the most potent and the most important source of future policy investments. Industry which is the hardest nut to crack. Industry contributes almost 30% of emissions in India. The steel, cement, petrochemicals, aluminum, pharmaceuticals, these are all heat intensive industries, but they are now going to be brought under the ambit of a scheme called CCTS, Carbon Credit Trading System, which would imply that all these heat intensive industries, which are a very large source of emissions, will be subject to emissions intensity norms. So let's look at that. Uh, before that, uh, Before that, let me explain spend a half a minute more on the investments which are being made by the government, and obviously private sector will need to give the supporting hand here. You know, the solar cell manufacturing itself, the EV auto components, the advanced cell batteries and green hydrogen and electrolyzers, all put together, the government has made a commitment of almost $11 billion in the next 5 to 6 years. So there is a large scope of bilateral cooperation and investment opportunities which are opened up now. So the last point was about the carbon market. Although this must be the most important area of your concern today, but why I have put this at the end is we need to look at our own policies first, which can help us reduce our emissions or make our trajectory of emissions bend towards net zero in the future. But the carbon markets can make this process much easier. They can help us incentivize adoption of technologies which are a little expensive at this moment. So it's possible. So the carbon markets are a source not just of finance but also of new technologies, and it is here that I would request our Japanese collaborators and partners to think about both of these aspects. So we need to look at the carbon markets in a slightly imaginative and uh, terms, so that we can mutually take benefits from this. The government of India has come up with 14 sectors. Now there are two types of markets. One is the compliance markets, which are subject to regulation, where credits are used to meet the regulatory compliance. But there is a voluntary market where there is no regulatory compliance, but you can still meet your voluntary targets. And both kinds of markets are flourishing in India. In fact, India was an early player in the voluntary carbon market and also in the compliance market through the CDM. So we have a huge experience as far as carbon markets are concerned. Our industries have played a very important role. So we can use this experience to utilize the new emerging mechanisms under the Paris Agreement through Article 6.2 and 6.4. Just give me one more minute. The 14 sectors which government of India has notified, these are all sectors which involve high level of technology. The investment is large, but you need not be daunted by this, because the kind of incentives which would be available will also be equally large. So there is a great opportunity here looking at these sectors, and I would encourage you, considering the policies and the investments which government of India has put out, there is a large potential here in these 14 sectors where credits can be traded to meet the regulatory compliance. Simultaneously, the CCTS, which is going to be implemented, it will have emissions intensity targets for the industries which are going to be covered. There are almost 1400 units in India which are in 13 different sectors which are covered under CCTS. All of them will not be covered immediately. The cover will happen gradually. But in the initial phase, from 2026 onwards, about 4 to 5 sectors will be covered. And I'm sure some of you who are a part of these consultations which Ministry of Power has had with industries, you must have seen the kind of emissions intensity targets which are being suggested for steel, cement, paper, petrochemicals and industries like this, who are going to be the early birds in the CCTS. In addition, we already have an energy efficiency market. We already have a renewable energy market where trading is taking place. But I'll leave the thought with you, the last point, because the point that I wanted to make was that while these 14 sectors are hard to abate sectors where greater amount of technology and investment is involved, we must also look at the energy efficiency and the renewable energy as the possible potential. But what we need to do here is bilaterally, Indian and Japanese stakeholders need to raise their voice in the global markets. But because today the global rules don't permit this. The global rules, the way they are being designed, they keep renewable energy and energy efficiency out of the carbon markets. So you need to understand this and also play an active role. So I'll request my Japanese counterparts here who are present here in large number to lend their voice to the Indian partners and see to it that the renewable energy and energy efficiency get recognized in the international carbon market system with equal force as the other hard to abate sectors. Let me end here with this slide on the collaboration. We need to collaborate in cleaner technologies, hydrogen, carbon capture, utilization, not just storage, but utilization, capacity building in terms of Article 6 market mechanisms, FDI, which is being promoted through production linked incentive scheme of the government of India. You have a large market and potential there. And finally, financing for industrial transition. So all of this gives a large um, area, a platform to work together, and I'm sure the deliberations here will help us in moving forward in this regard. So thank you once again for listening to me and giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the remarkable speech on highlighting India's work being done in achieving its NDCs and the increasing shift we have shown towards renewable energy, and also for throwing light on the potential areas of collaboration between India and Japan. We will now move on to the next session on introduction of joint crediting mechanism scheme and the JCM project development. The session includes 4 presentations on basic ideas, recent development and financial support of the JCM. I would now like to invite Mr. Kiname Kohei, Deputy Director at the Office of International Carbon Market, Ministry of Environment, Japan. Over to you, please.
Namaste, konnichiwa, and good morning, everyone. My name is Kohei Kiname from the Ministry of Environment, Japan. Today I would like to briefly explain about update of recent progress of joint crediting mechanism. Here's the index. I'll touch upon the overview of the JCM and also potential JCM projects in India. And finally, I would like to explain about policies to promote the JCM. Here is the basic concept of the JCM. In partner countries, now it's 29 as of today. Japanese companies and government collaborate on mitigation activities together with partner countries' government and also companies. And the achieved mitigation outcome will be shared as JCM credits between the partner countries and Japan in proportion to their respective contribution. The JCM credits incentivize investment by Japanese companies and government and in various decarbonization projects. So, which means JCM credits, without JCM credits, the project will not likely to happen. And this is sorry for the busy slide. This is how we evaluate the mitigation outcomes by JCM credits. Mitigation outcomes issued as JCM credits are the difference between reference emissions and project emission. And however, the total mitigation outcomes by JCM projects is the difference between BAU emissions and project emissions, which is indicated as gray arrows. And allocation of total mitigation outcomes for each government and participants will be consulted bilaterally, taking into consideration their respective contribution to the JCM projects. And the JCM is in accordance with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. So both parties needs to authorize the use of carbon credits and also apply the corresponding adjustments to ensure the avoidance of double counting. And here's a scheme of the JCM project cycle. Of course, we have project participants, and also we have joint committee consisting of Japanese government and partner countries government. And also we have third-party entities for which who provide the validation and verification. And you can see the scheme of the JCM project cycle on the right side, starting from project idea note, submission of PIN, and then go to methodologies and project development, project design document, PDD, and also validation by TPE, and finally registration, and also after that verified by TPE, and finally issuance of credits. So this is the whole scheme of JCM project cycle. And we have 30 friends, including Japan so far, and mostly is from Asia Pacific, but also we have many other friends from Eastern Europe, Africa, Middle East, and also Latin America. And so far, 29 JCM partner countries and more than 250 projects and over 3 billion of billion US dollar of investment by JCM. And I like to explain about sectors of the JCM projects. So far, there have been 257 technologies adoptions, and more than half of these are related to renewable energy, and also more than 30% for energy efficiency, and which is making up the majority. But also we have the project for waste management and also effective use of energy. And in addition to that, agriculture, project from agriculture and also forestry sector is expected to emerge. Now I'd like to explain about potential JCM projects in India. It's already explained in the previous presentation, but here is the list of the 14 eligible lists under the Article 6 in India. Some of the JCM projects which have been implemented so far are considered as eligible. So I picked up some projects from those. This is a solar power PV with battery storage in Chile. And also we have a waste heat recovery in cement sector project in Philippines. And this is energy efficiency projects introducing high efficiency autoclave in Indonesia. And lastly, this is waste management projects with methane gas recovery system in Mexico. So we believe that some of the JCA projects have been included in the 14 eligible list. So lastly, I'd like to touch upon the policies to promote the JCM. The government of Japan will launch new agency covering all the operation of the JCM in April 2025, which means from next month. The new agency will be a one-stop focal point for the JCM on behalf of Japanese government. So we would like to speed up the implementation and facilitation of the JCM more than ever. And also in charge of for ensuring environmental integrity and transparency for the JCM, the new agency will be in charge there. And also, we are focusing on the upgrading JSON website and registry. Now we have JSON website and JSON registry system respectively, but we are now planning to integrate these systems to a new JCM registry, so which We'll share the latest information on the website and also information about credits. And then the credit buyers or who wants to know that information can access in that one single website. And regarding the NDC, Japan has submitted new NDC last month, and we set the ambitious goal, 200 million ton CO2 reduction removals accumulated 200 million ton CO2 by JCM till 2040. So we need to scale up and speed up the implementation of the JCM. Okay. And also another important news is the GX ETS, which is a mandatory trading system, will start in 2026. And compliance credits, including JCM credits, can be used in this GX ETS. So we believe that it will enhance a huge demand on the JCM credits, so which will trigger the JCM implementation. So lastly, I'd like to briefly explain about financial programs by Japanese government. We have several subsidies for the project implementation, as well as support scheme for of MRV. So whole package of support scheme we already prepared. And this is the subsidies for JCM project by Ministry of Environment Japan. We have 85 million, approximately 85 million US dollar in 2025 budget. But of course, we have this budget, but more importantly, we seek to have JCM project without finance by Japanese government. We would like to seek implement projects by without any financial support, which means private companies will acquire the part of the credits, and they can ensure their profits by these credits. Okay, thank you for listening. These are the JCM partnership. This is a photo from JCM partnership meeting. We have many friends from all over the countries, all over the world. So we sincerely look forward to welcoming India as a new friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kiname. Now I would like to invite Mr. Murayama Takahiro, climate change specialist at the Asian Development Bank, to present on the Japan Fund for the Joint Crediting Mechanism. Mr. Murayama, the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning everyone. Namaste, ohayo gozaimasu. My name is Takahiro Murayama, the climate change specialist from the Asian Development Bank. I'm very delighted to have this opportunity to introduce our work on the JCM from the ADB. Thank you very much. Starting from the ADB's carbon markets engagement, which includes the JCM, we have been working on this carbon market since 2004. So it's been more than 20 years of the experience working on this carbon market space. And we've been working on this space for two major approaches. One is the providing technical and capacity development for our client developing member countries so that they can be ready for accessing the carbon markets, including under the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. This is one arm of the cooperation or support we can provide. And the other arm of the cooperation support is the carbon financing, We directly support the projects that reduce greenhouse gas emissions with the expectation to generate carbon credits. And then this is another arm of the very important arm of our carbon market operations, which includes the Japan Fund for the Joint Crediting Mechanism, which I'm going to explain from the next slide. Okay, so Japan Fund for the Joint Crediting Mechanism, JFJCM. This is the one of the ADB trust funds established in 2014. So it's been under operation for 10 years. And from the government of Japan, the Ministry of the Environment Japan, we have received 137 million US dollars cumulatively. And we are providing the support, financial incentives as a grant to the projects that adopt the advanced low carbon technologies in ADB finance projects. And the projects supported by the JFJCM would need to use the joint crediting mechanism to generate carbon credits under the JCM and then partially share the credits with the government of Japan. That's the expectation. And both sovereign and non-sovereign projects are eligible for our support, meaning that sovereign is the more like the projects financed together with the government's guarantee, and the non-sovereign are basically for the private sector financing from the ADB. Okay, first the eligibility of the JFGSM support. We can support all the ADB developing member countries that have signed bilateral agreement on the JCM with the government of Japan. So as we've been discussing already, India is expected to be a new JCM partner country in the near future. So once the India signs the JCM, that will open the door for accessing to our grant funding for the JFJCM. And then eligible projects, we support the investment projects financed by ADB. So fundamentally, we only can support the ADB finance project. This is the key criteria for our support. And for the eligible technologies, as introduced by different speakers already, as India indicates the 14 categories or the technology which would need the carbon financing to further dissemination of those technologies. So advanced technology is something that we also try to support. So I see a very good commonality between the two policies of the India to use the Article 6 for the advanced technology, and also we are supporting the advanced low carbon technology as well. And the technologies must have a proven implementation and operation record with technical effectiveness. In other words, we do not support the R&D, research and development phase of technology. Rather, we would like to disseminate the technology that has been demonstrated somewhere in the world for further reduction of the greenhouse gas emission. This is the slide to explain how we provide grant funding to projects. For sovereign, with the guarantee from the government type of the projects, we provide grants to fill the incremental cost of advanced low carbon technologies. The incremental cost is the cost of the gap between the advanced technologies and the conventional technologies. So we try to fill the gap so that the grant recipient or the borrowers can introduce such advanced technologies without that much burden, financial burden to do so. And the maximum grant amount we can provide is the 10% of the total project cost, which is capped to 10 million US dollars. And for non-sovereign project, the private sector projects, basically on top of the ADB private sector loan, we provide grants as a form of the support for the deployment of advanced low carbon technologies on the milestone basis. And similar to the sovereign projects, 10% of the total project cost, which is capped to 10 million, is the maximum grant amount that we can provide. However, it may sound like a very small amount of the grants if you are thinking about very huge projects like multi-hundred million projects for the investment. But this cap is something that we can further discuss if the project is very impactful in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and have a multiple effects, and also the replication impact would be there, then we can further consider whether we can further provide more than 10 million US dollars in consultation with our financing partner, the Ministry of the Environment Japan. Okay, this is the last slide. This is a summary of the projects that are being supported by our JFGSCM. Country-wise, we have 3 projects in Maldives, 2 projects in Mongolia, and 1 each for Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Palau. If you look at the technologies, battery storage together with the energy management system, energy efficient transmission lines, conductors, and also some renewable plus batteries, and also the building energy efficiency. Also waste to energy projects in the Maldives. And the last one is more on the financial intermediation, which would support the local small and medium enterprises to introduce advanced low carbon technologies. So these are mainly supporting the considered as the advanced technologies in a different countries' context. So we will look forward to supporting India's further decarbonization by providing this kind of financial incentives. Okay, thank you very much. And I understand that we have a business matching session after this event. I would have a table, so I would like to have a separate individual discussion with any of you are interested in the JFGCM, so that we can get ready for accessing the JFGCM once the India signs the joint crediting mechanism for the agreement. Look forward to that collaboration in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Murayama. Now I would like to invite Mr. Noze Daiki from Pacific Consultants to introduce the JCM feasibility study scheme by the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, Japan, and the key points for application. Mr. Noze, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for introduction. My name is Daiki Nose from Pacific Consultants. It's good to see you all. As I explained, as they introduced me, my company, Pacific Consultants, is a secretariat of JCM feasibility study scheme implemented by Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, Japan. I will give a brief explanation of what is the JCM feasibility study scheme. This is a content. First, I will explain our company, and then I will introduce the JCM feasibility studies. Our company, Pacific Consultants, is one of the leading construction consulting firms. Sorry, construction consulting firms in Japan. Our business field and our history started 1951, and we have long history in climate change field since 1990s. Such as support for development of GHG emission reduction projects, including CDM, Clean Development Mechanism, and also JCM. I'm sorry. Yeah. And as Ministry of Environment Japan explained earlier, Japanese government has several financial support schemes for JCM. I will explain METIS financial support for feasibility studies. If you have a project portfolio of carbon credit projects and have some technical challenges and methodological challenges, you can consider to utilize this METIS feasibility study support. Please note that this introduction is based on the application manual for or the fiscal year 2024, this Japanese fiscal year. The main objective of the JSIM feasibility study is to increase project viability as a JSIM project at political, economical, and MRV perspectives, resulting in issuance of JSIM credit. And you can apply the feasibility study, JSIM feasibility study, in the countries that have already signed, it means 29 countries so far, or countries that are likely as JSIM partner countries, including India also, are eligible for this JSIM feasibility study scheme. I will skip this slide and I will tell the point of the JCM feasibility studies. There are 7 research items in this fiscal year that should be conducted in the JCM feasibility studies. Research, policy trend, market environment, analyze issues to be solved for or develop proposed JCM project, drafting GHG emission reduction methodologies, discussion with stakeholders, identification of remaining issues after completion of the JSIM feasibility studies, and lastly, drafting the project idea note PIN. This is the format of the PIN. And then applicant submit the proposal to the secretariat by online, and if selected, secretariat will have a contract with those companies. The maximum budget for one feasibility study is up to 15 million Japanese yen, excluding tax. It's approximately 8.5 million Indian rupee. And applicant must be a Japanese company. This is the a bit limitations for Indian companies. Applicants must be a Japanese companies or overseas Japanese branches. Headquarters are located in Japan. If Indian companies are interested in this JSIM feasibility studies, at first you will try to approach to the Japanese company to apply this JSIM feasibility studies. This is the annual schedule for feasibility study in case of the first open call in this fiscal year. Opened on April for about 1 month, and then if your proposal is approved, JSIM feasibility study secretariat, our company will contract with your companies. And then you can start research. And the research period is about 6 months because contract will end by early February next year. And this is the JSIM feasibility study record in the year 2023. And in 2024, 1 minute. In 2024, feasibility study was approved in which 4 projects were conducted in India. The one is distributed biogas from cow manure and waste to steam in municipality and industrial areas. And the third one is production of second generation bioethanol from biomass residues. And the last one is compressed biogas. CBG study will be introduced in the next session by Mitsubishi Corporation India. At the final point, I need to add that as Mr. Rajani from TEDI shows, India government shows 14 sectors for Article 6.2. It means you application, you need to also consider that 14 sectors when try to apply JSIM feasibility studies. I'm sorry, I not changed. Yeah. Lastly, if you have any ideas, please contact to the JCM Feasibility Study Secretariat to or this project is applicable or not for feasibility studies or any question welcome. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Noze. Now I would like to invite Ms. Fukizawa Nene, researcher at the Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center, to present the JCM project development points for the local partners. Ms. Fukizawa, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Good morning, namaste everyone. I'm Nene Fukizawa from the Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center Japan, OECC. I am also the organizer of this seminar, so thank you everyone for participating. I'm so happy to see all the seats filled up. So we OECC have been one of the implementation agencies of the JCM since the very beginning of this mechanism. And we have been supporting the early stage of the JCM project development as our main role. So today I would like to make a presentation on the JCM project development points for the local partners based on our experience. Okay, so before moving on to those points, this is the same chart Mr. Kiname from MOEJ already showed us. It's in a different design, but it's a scheme of JCM project cycle, but I added our role at the top. It's JCM project development, so yes, that's what my presentation will be about. And as the Ministry of Environment mentioned earlier, there are many benefits of the JCM project, such as the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions in the partner country and contribution to the partner country to achieve their environmental and development goals based on their needs. And by needs, I mean like those explained already by Mr. R.R. Rashmi, like NDC, LT, LEDs, and commitments. And also, GCM supports the partner country in developing a sustainable society. In other words, offers social, economic, and environmental benefits. And by, for example, helping the partner country to overcome energy security challenges, reduce air pollution, solve waste problems, create job opportunities, etc., and contribute to the well-being of the people of the partner country. Also, carbon credits produced by JCM is high quality because of the strict monitoring, reporting, and verification system. So some of the project development points that I pointed out in this with the orange background would be to investigate and avoid possible trade-offs from the project itself, and always following the latest information of the partner country's environmental and development goals. And this is for Japanese side, but understanding the project implementation partners' needs through consultations and making sure that greenhouse gas emission reduction can be quantitatively calculated and verified. Because sometimes when developing a project, these points easily slip away, but for the successful implementation of JCM projects, these points should be kept in mind. Okay, well, this has been shown many times already. So from the next slides, I would like to explain two examples of JCM projects related to the highlighted activity, one related to biogas and the other related to high-end technology for energy efficiency. So, well, I came to realize that compressed biogas and biogas is a bit different, but this one is about biogas. It's promoting large-scale greenhouse gas emissions reduction by biogas generation. So this project reduces around 52,000 CO2 per year. The offtake of this project is Dole Philippines, which owns pineapple plantation fields as shown on the screen. So before the project, they used to throw away the pineapple waste from their pineapple canneries or canning factories in the Philippines. To make those canned pineapples, I think you imagine that there are many parts to be like cut away and thrown away. So in this project, the waste is used for power generation and fuel conversion from heavy fuel oil. So moving on to the development points for local partners. Biogas projects usually have challenges of securing stable supply of biomass, and in this case, as Dole has been harvesting and processing the pineapples 365 days for many years in cycles, and as this cycle is to continue for many years to come, a stable supply of pineapple waste could be obtained. So when you want to implement a biogas project, you need to first think about how to obtain a stable supply of biomass. Also, the project needs to bring economic benefit in addition to greenhouse gas reduction. So in this case, a scheme to lower the cost of electricity and steam generation or the operational costs of the Dole Philippines was developed. The cost of the electricity produced by biogas is lower than using the grid electricity, and the cost of steam produced by biogas is lower than the steam produced by burning the heavy fuel oil. So this scheme allowed Dole Philippines to profit and reduce greenhouse gas emissions at the same time. And this would be my last slide. So case two. So this is energy efficiency project. It was implemented in Vietnam. We succeeded in transmission loss reduction, stable and greenhouse gas reduction through the introduction of amorphous high efficiency transformers instead of transformers with silicon steel core in the power grid. Well, I heard amorphous transformer is already implemented in India. Many of them, it's common in India, but you can see it in the right photo. It looks like this. It reduces electricity loss compared to usual transformers. So in the beginning, our local partner was Southern Power Corporation belonging to the national power company called Vietnam Electricity. They first installed these amorphous transformers in the southern part of Vietnam. Okay, I'll finish soon. This led to the Vietnam Electricity expanding amorphous transformers to the whole country, installing more than 10,000 amorphous transformers. And I'll skip to the point. So the development points in this project would be development of a scheme to produce the transformers locally, only importing the iron cores from Japan. This led to local competition and the price of amorphous transformers lowered, which made it possible to install the high-end transformers with lower cost in Vietnam and also created job opportunities. Although the transformers are, yes, common in India, but I think this scheme of introducing a new technology would work for any kind of technology in any country. So JCM allowed Vietnam Electricity to check the performance of amorphous transformers as a first step. And now they made this implementation of these transformers the procurement standard as a top runner technology, further advancing energy saving in Vietnam. So the localization was a key to developing a scheme to install high-end technologies in Vietnam. And sorry, yes, this is my last slide. Thank you so much for your attention, and please feel free to contact us anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nene, and thank you all for your active participation. We will now move on to the next session, which is on introduction of JCM's best practices in the JCM partner countries. The session includes 2 case studies and a feasibility study of the JCM. I would now like to invite Mr. Takahashi Gen, General Manager at JFE Engineering Cooperation, to introduce us to the JCM project with the waste to energy technology. Thank you, sir. Please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Takahashi from JFE Engineering Corporation. Today, I'd like to share our JFE's experience in waste-to-energy solutions, where we are committed to addressing global waste management and climate change challenges through innovative technologies. So before our main topic, let me share a recent milestone event in India. Last November, at CII's ninth International Conference for the Waste to World Technologies in New Delhi here. We are honored by the presence of His Excellency Shri Bhupender Yadav, Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The Minister's strong commitment, along with the very enthusiastic support from a CII member country here in India, demonstrated India's dedication to environmental innovation here. With JFE Engineering at the forefront of environmental technology innovation. As a core member of JFE Group, our environmental solutions, including waste energy systems, represent over 45% of our business portfolio. Our extensive experience in environmental technologies has established us as a trusted partner in sustainable development projects worldwide, of course, here in India. Our environmental projects have achieved significant CO2 emission reductions, approximately 11 million tons in fiscal year 2022. This includes successful implementation of the best available technologies in hard-to-abate sectors, which are especially highlighted in India's Article 6.2 priority list. For example, our waste heat recovery system at the cement factory in Indonesia demonstrates high-end technology applications for energy efficiency improvement. These achievements showcase our capability to deliver solutions that directly align with India's technological priorities along with some international cooperation. JCM, the Joint Crediting Mechanism. It is an innovative bilateral program initiated by Japanese Ministry of Environment to promote low carbon technologies globally. JFE Engineering are the only company that has successfully implemented the JCM scheme in the waste to energy sectors. We JFE Engineering will offer unique expertise and experience. While India and Japan have not yet established a JCM agreement, we see great potential for the future collaboration in this framework, particularly in advancing technologies aligned with India's Article 6.2 priorities. Let me highlight our flagship project in Vietnam, where we successfully addressed several critical challenges. This state-of-art facility processes municipal solid waste with high moisture content. This is a common issue in Asian countries. While mixing high calorific value industrial solid waste, maintaining stable operation and generating over 11 megawatt of clean power. Our advanced gas control system achieves emission level aligning with environmental standards, of course. Most importantly, it achieved significant greenhouse gas emission reductions of approximately over 40,000 tons of CO2 annually, demonstrating superior environmental performance that would be difficult to achieve with conventional technologies. What makes this project particularly noteworthy is its innovative financing structure addressing the specific challenges of waste-to-energy projects in emerging countries. The high initial investment cost and long payback periods typically make these projects difficult to implement through the conventional financing alone. We successfully overcame these barriers by combining the multiple type of financing schemes. Of course, JCM subsidy from Ministry of Environment Japan, financing from International Financing Corporation IFC, including support from the Finland IFC branded financing scheme. Furthermore, our equity sharing model with a local partner, Vietnamese local partner company ensures sustainable operations through a strong local commitment. This innovative financing approach effectively addresses the market barriers that often prevent the adoption of advanced environmental technologies. While waste energy technology represents an advanced application of high-end energy efficiency technology, our solution offers the unique advantages that align with India's commitment, of course. Our advanced stoker technology and the gas controlling systems maintain the stable operation even with various type of some waste composition in countries as well. This demonstrates best available technology application in some waste management sectors. Looking forward, the future innovation that aligns with India's Article 6.2 priorities, we are developing CO2 capture technologies, specifically designed for the waste incineration plant. This development directly corresponds to India's focus on carbon capture utilization, CCS, CCU, and storage technology, CCUS, maybe. So this is representing our next steps in environmental technology solution. We are also advancing waste-to-chemical technologies to convert waste materials into valuable products, including raw materials for the plastics and sustainable aviation fuel, are key priority areas in India's technological roadmap. While implementing these advanced technology presents certain challenges, of course, but we believe that establishing proven waste energy solutions through JCM can create the foundation for such kinds of future technologies. This systematic approach would not only address immediate waste management needs, but also contribute significantly to India's GHG emission reduction targets. In closing, I'd like to emphasize that our corporate mission, just for the Earth, as reflected in our company name, JFE. So you can easily remember our company name after this session. This goes far beyond our business objectives. So we are committed to realizing sustainable circular economy through our innovative technologies, strong local partnerships, and optimal financing solutions. So these three key elements working in harmony can accelerate the transition to the more sustainable future, both Japan and India. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you very much.
We only have time for one question. Please raise your hands and introduce yourself before posing the question. Anybody from the audience, if you have a question for Mr. Oh, we have one at the back.
I am Rakesh Mehrotra. I had a question that how you are getting beneficiation of the biogas and reducing the pollution. Because one slide showed that. How is it happening? Because any combustion will also release carbon dioxide. The part that the natural emissions which will come from biomass or waste, that is curbed. But further, in the combustion, how we are reducing the emitted carbon dioxide or gases.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very important point, I think. So, yes, you are correct. This kind of waste to energy installation system will discharge the several volume of CO2 from our facilities, of course. But after some installation of this waste energy plant, we can avoid some very huge volume of methane gas emissions from open dumping site or some landfill site. With combining with using such kind of some context, both the waste to energy system installation and safety closure of this open dumping site, we can achieve a very huge volume of CO2 emission reduction volume with combining as I said, methane gas producing open dumping site closures. From our experiences to JCM WTE case, we are using such kind of some context to invite such kind of some JCM aligning for the some JCM scheme, and also to achieve several very big volumes of GHG emission reduction result in such kind of some context. But anyway, thank you very much for this very important point question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Takahashi. We will now move on to the next presentation by Mr. Francisco Carlos Santos, AVP and Head of Project Development at the Energy Development Corporation, to introduce geothermal JCM project in the Philippines. Mr. Santos, the floor is yours.
Good morning, namaste, and in Filipino, mabuhay, which means live well. And as you may see, I am Carlos Santos from the Philippines. If you look at the east and head past the Indian Ocean, past Thailand, past Vietnam, that's where the Philippines is. And it just so happens that I've been invited by the Ministry of Energy of Japan as well as the OECC to be able to come here and present our JCM story. And it is my hope that in the coming months or maybe year, somebody else from the audience would be here giving their story in the future. So just a few introductory slides on Who Energy Development Corporation. Next year, we will be actually celebrating our 50th year as a geothermal power energy company, but we have then since expanded to other RE technologies. Happy to say that the origin story of Energy Development Corporation is really an ode to the saying that necessity is the mother of invention. Basically, Energy Development Corporation came about because in the 70s, we were primarily powered by diesel engines. And because of the rising costs of oil, the then government decided to explore the abundant geothermal reservoirs in the Philippines, which if you trace, we belong to the Ring of Fire, which also extends to Japan. We are all in one. We are all one together in our ambition to decarbonize the world. Our mission is to forge collaborative pathways for a decarbonized and regenerative future. Collaborative is actually highlighted only it's because we feel that we need to have our co-creators such as the Japanese government and our suppliers and our vendors, our customers, our communities, the environment, and our shareholders. So that is our pentad, and that's how we feel that we are able to progress and be successful in geothermal development and other RE technologies. Uh, before coming here, I quickly checked ChatGPT. What is the Philippines famous for? And three things came up: the islands for the good beaches, the warm culture, and the food. And I was hoping to see geothermal on that list because we are happy to be able to be part of the 1 gigawatt country club. And we take pride in that we are actually one of the industry leaders in geothermal in the world. Just a snapshot for people that don't know or are not familiar with geothermal. You can really break it down into three phases. You have exploration, development, and production and operations. Exploration, that's nothing new. You've probably seen that in oil and gas. Development is what I'm going to be talking about today on how we were able to involve the JCM in our ambition and in our plans. And production and O&M is no other different than other RE technologies. But I want to take a step back and show you that this value chain extends to multiple years at times. And if you can see that in every stage and phases, it can be a very costly and expensive journey, given that some of our geothermal reservoirs in the Philippines are in the mountainous areas, which we don't have roads or transmission lines going to them. Just quickly on our ambition, we want to be net zero by 2040. Unfortunately, our steam is what we emit to the air. So 99% of our emissions come from the CO2 that's embedded into the steam. But what we're trying to do in the next years is to really look hard at carbon capture systems that can hopefully suppress that, as well as other low-hanging fruits such as putting solar to defer some of our house loads and looking at other creative solutions on how we can bring down our greenhouse inventories. And I think this is what I want to spend a little bit time on. And while I was crafting this slide, it really made me proud to say that I was actually involved in some of these projects wherein we were able to work with great collaborators such as Mitsubishi, Toshiba, Mizuho, and JGC. Without them, we would not be able to actually see these projects which are already in these current states. For example, the project on the most right, which is supported by MHI, and we got in the JCM class of 2020, that used to be a dump site. And we always knew that there was a potential for us to build a secondary unit on that site, but the economics did not support the project. Luckily, there are programs like the JCM that can hopefully unlock your RE development projects. Earlier, there was a slide that showed um, huge targets for RE, non-fossil, and I think JCM can help unlock those. I have two more slides, and this one just really focuses on the typical structure that we would have with one of our Japanese country representatives, which would either be a an MHI or a Toshiba. They would then elect whoever would be that Japanese representative that would be facing the JCM or would be sponsoring it. We would then be able to form that international consortium. And then my next slide shows basically the structure that you've been seeing earlier. I think it was presented with in two slides already. But it's really clear scope delineation, knowing who would support act or and who would lead, that can really unlock the JCM for making it a very seamless experience. I've done it between the years of 2020 to 2022, even during a pandemic, and it may sound daunting, but with the right partners and the right passion, you would be able to do it as well. I'm confident. And last but not least, I wanted to end with this slide wherein we hosted MHI, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, as well as the Global Environment Center of the Japanese government. They are, I think, the administrators, current administrators of the JCM. They came to our power plant to give their stamp of approval, literally stickers on some of our equipment, symbolizing that these were all part of the JCM and co-funded by the JCM. Again, my name is Carlos Santos. I'm available for conversations, and if interested, I can even take them offline on a different day. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and good luck to India.
Thank you, Mr. Santos. Can we have one quick question for him, please, from the audience? Any questions, suggestions from the audience? Okay. I think we have one at the back.
Hello. I just wanted to understand the basic technical aspect of, are you generating steam and running a turbine? How you are getting the utility of the heat from the geothermal?
Okay. Geothermal, well, at least the projects that are related to the JCM funding, these are primarily binary organic Rankine cycles. So what does that mean? We have a existing power plant which actually extracted steam from the ground. We separate the brine and the steam. The steam goes into the main plant to generate power. The brine, which is usually still around 180 degrees to 170 degrees, that's the brine that we put into the new power plant. So it's almost like a waste heat recovery play wherein we run the hot fluid at
Can I
170.
get the temperature and pressure of the steam that comes out from the site?
Yes, there is an inlet pressure and inlet temperature. Right now, the inlet temperature that I can recall is around 170, and the delta would be around 80. So the exit outlet temperature would be 80. So that would be basically the heat.
Can it directly run a turbine or something?
We actually run it through a organic ranking cycle, which is actually also looping pentane or N-butane or isopentane, quick boiling chemicals that can actually, these hydrocarbons are the actual ones that create the steam, if you think about it. So the organic ranking cycle or the powerhouse is really clean. We don't introduce any
You need some
fluids or
supplementary fuel.
the only fuel we require for is the brine that comes from the main plant.
No, you mean that temperature gives you the steam that is going to work for the power generation.
Yes, sir.
No supplementary fuel is required.
No supplementary fuel is required, and the good news is a binary power plant has zero emissions because we're just really utilizing the existing brine.
Okay, I'll talk to you personally, maybe.
Yes. Thank you.
With that, we move on to the last presentation before the lunch break. I would like to invite Mr. Iwamoto Osamu, Senior Vice President at the Environmental Energy and Power Solution Group, Mitsubishi Corporation India, to share the experience on METI JCM feasibility study on compressed biogas technologies in India. Sir, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you very much to giving us this opportunity. My name is Osamu Iwamoto. I'm from the Mitsubishi Corporation, India. Actually, I'm looking after all the energy business in India. So today, so initially, Mr. Nose from Pacific Consultant explained about the MET JCM study, a feasibility study. So luckily, we Mitsubishi Corporation India was selected. So last year, financial year 2024, this MET JCM feasibility study scheme So today I would like to share actually what we did. So I'm the last presenter before the lunch, so let me try to finish within 5 minutes. I have only 2 pages. So this is actually the summary of what we did. So we pick up the compressed biogas technology because this is one of the 14 areas in which India government approved. And as you already know, there's many CBG plant already in India. But normal CBG plant, their revenue stream is only the selling the compressed biogas to the CNG station or the city gas distribution company. That's the first revenue stream. And the second revenue stream is the selling the fertilizer to the farmer. But by adding this JCM scheme, we can create a third revenue stream, carbon credit. So that one today I'd like to explain to you. So we pick up the one greenfield project utilizing the sugarcane-based press mat. In addition to that, we put some of the cow dung and cattle chicken waste. Then collecting the about 170 metric ton of the feedstock, then generate about 6 metric ton of the compressed biogas. But according to our calculation, so we can save the GHG emission about 30,000 ton CO2 equivalent per year. So this reduction of the GHG emission becomes a carbon credit. But as you know, the India, you already have the many the voluntary carbon credit market. But this JCM credit, we can have some access to the Japan's compliance market. So today, earlier, Mr. Kiname mentioned about the now the Japanese government tried to implement the compliance market starting from next year, 2026. So you could see some of the price assumption. For this study, we utilize the voluntary carbon credits, say $5 per unit. But for this study, we use only $15 for the JCM credit price. But this is something like last year's average. So last week, I checked the latest figure. You see, now this $15 increased to $40 already. And as you know, the Japan, the compliance credit market not yet started. It will be started from next year. So we can easily estimate once those compliance obligation scheme will be implemented, this JCM credit price might be increased. So this JCM scheme, we are trying to have the so-called private JCM scheme. So earlier session, there's a many explanation about some of the technology transfer and also subsidy from Japanese government. But this case, we don't expect any subsidy from Japanese government. So Japanese company as a business person just participate into project. But so by return of those participation, we may have some access to obtain the JCM credit. Then this JCM credit we can sell in the Japan's JCM credit market, which price might be higher than the global voluntary carbon market. And you see, this benefit belongs to the project itself, not to the Japanese investor. So if we, for example, set up the joint venture between the India and Japan, this joint venture can enjoy some of the portion of the carbon credit selling within the Japan's JC market, which price might be higher than normal voluntary carbon credit. So through this scheme, we believe we can make some add value to the project. Then project become more feasible, and we are expecting more and more project will be implemented. This is a key essence. So just to repeat, this private JCM scheme, involvement of the Japanese company, so we can have some access to the high values premium JCM carbon credit market in Japan. Then those benefits can be shared by all of the joint venture. So this is just a key essence of today's my explanation. And this JCM feasibility study will be conducted by our Mitsubishi Corporation India. We are the Indian company, and today we have the 3 members from our team. So we are happy to share this experience. Thank you so much.
We'll take one question for Sir. Please raise your hand and introduce yourself before posing the question.
Thank you. It's a wonderful presentation. It may be a little more technical, but the numbers that you have quoted, I think it's a 6 TPD plant, 6 ton per day plant. The number 30,000 credits to me looks, number one, is that you are also counting the methane avoided, okay, which is not really true for the kind of waste that you are talking about. But even if the methane avoided is also taken into account, numbers seem to be little significantly higher. To me, the number is, even if methane is counted, is around 20,000, not more than that.
I see.
Anyway, it may be more technical, but we can discuss outside.
Anyway, so through this SOMET JCM feasibility study, actually we develop the JCM methodology. We drafted up JCM methodology. So just we calculated utilizing our created JCM methodology. So it is not yet approved. So we are not so sure whether it is correct or not. But based on some of our assumption, we made this calculation. It's about 30,000 credit per year. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you all for your active participation. With that, we conclude the morning session and we will now adjourn for the lunch break. An important announcement, at 3:30 in the afternoon, we have the business networking session. If you need to be a part of that, you need to set up your stalls during the lunch break. Post 1:30, we shall not open the area for setting up the stalls. So if you wish to do that, the lunch break is there. The lunch break will end at 1:30 and I request you all to be back in time so that we can start the next session promptly. Thank you so much.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mika Tachibana of IJES. I serve as MC this afternoon session. And this afternoon session, I guess many of us feel a little bit sleepy after the big meal. But I'm sure this afternoon session will make your eyes opening all the time with the very interesting and attractive speeches. Okay, this afternoon session is focusing on potential project stimulating green economy investment in India. In this session, speakers of seven companies will present environmental technologies that can contribute to solving India's environmental challenges and building a sustainable society. Then in the panel session, 6 panelists from the government of India and Japan, Indian companies and the business association, and Japanese aid agency will discuss expectations and the potential of environmental cooperation between India and Japan. First, I would like to invite Mr. Sambit Mohanty, Group Head, Business Development Department, Canadavia India Private Limited. Mr. Mohanty will present hydrogen generation device. Mr. Mohanty, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to introduce my company, Canadavia. Okay. So now we will go through about the company profile and Canadavia's business and technological innovation towards decarbonization and sustainability. Thus, Canadavia
Actually, it was established in 1881 by the British entrepreneur Mr. E.H. Hunter. In 1881, it was started as a shipbuilding. Then 1943, it was converted to as a Hitachi Zosen. And still Hitachi Zosen, we are continuing. And in 2024, October, 1st of October, we have changed our name to Canadivia. So we are not only a shipbuilding, we have started our company as a shipbuilding, but we have expanded our business in various fields, in various other divisions. So Canadivia, it has changed in 2024 to bring out our philosophy to our brand. We have changed our name. So Canadivia, that is harmony with nature. Now this is the company outline. So it was founded in 1881, and now all over world we have 12,148 number of employees, and our consolidated sales 555.8 billion yen. So we have companies, a number of group of companies, that is 85 companies over there and 84 overseas companies over there. We are in the designing, we are in construction, manufacturing, or we are in the various businesses like waste to energy plant, biogas, carbon neutral, wind power, and process equipments, and other hydraulic grades like that. So coming to the Canadivia presence in India. Actually, we have two main offices in India. That is, one is in Gurgaon, that is the head office, and another one is office in Hyderabad. So we have 7 members in Gurgaon office, and we have around 40 members in Hyderabad office. In Hyderabad office, it is associated with engineering team, project team, as well as SCM, sales, and all the members are sitting over there in Hyderabad. Apart from that, we have two group of companies. That is, one is Osmoflow, another one is Isjek Hitachi Limited. That is in Dahej, and Osmoflow is in Pune. So these are the project references in India. Till now, we have completed 3 waste to energy projects. One is in Jabalpur, that was capacity of 600 TPD of municipal solid waste processing and power generation of 11.5 megawatt. Another one is that was completed, this Jabalpur project was completed in 2016. And another one is project that is PCMC. PCMC, the processing capacity is 700 TPD and power generation is 14 megawatt. It was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister. It was commissioned in 2013 and still it is in operation. Then another one project in Bidadi near to the Bangalore. The capacity of the plant is 600 TPD and power generation capacity is 11.5 megawatt. The PG test of this project has been completed in 2024. Then we have supplied to tunnel boring machine to Bangalore Metro, that is in Bangalore, and we have press line that is in Delhi. So based on this presence in India, and we have the own setup in India, we are expecting more projects and expanding our business in India. Now coming to the Canadevia's technology. Basically, as I said earlier, we have various technologies and we are in various fields. We are always working towards environment. We are always trying to help environment and society. So coming to this technologies, that is carbon neutral business, what Canadivia has, not only we are supplying the only one equipment of carbon neutral business, we are supplying many equipments. We have many technologies, we are providing many equipment for the carbon capturing. So coming to the carbon capturing, We have installed one plant in Japan that is the first CO2 capturing plant in the world from waste to energy plant to carbon neutral business. That is going towards, you can say, greenhouse, reducing the greenhouse emission gas effect. So coming to this carbon neutral business. So carbon neutral business, we have the biogas upgradation system, we have the biogas plant. So basically, if you will go to the biogas plant, that is, you will find the methane will be there in the biogas around 50 to 60%, and remaining will be the carbon dioxide. Similarly, CO2 emission, once we will go for the incineration, there is just an incineration plant, there will be the flue gas will having the carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide, we have the technology to capture the carbon dioxide. Once carbon dioxide being captured, then it can be converted into methane through the methanation process. So for the methanation process, we have the electrolyzers. That electrolyzer will separate out the hydrogen, and that hydrogen can be utilized for the methane formation. So it will send to the reactor, and then carbon dioxide, it will be sent to the reactor, then methane formation will be there. That e-methane can be utilized. Then coming to the green hydrogen, as I said, the electrolyzer, we have the electrolyzer that works in the PEM technology. That electrolyzer, we can provide the hydrogen of 99.9% of purity of hydrogen. That can be utilized for transportation, that can be utilized for industrial utilization. Then this hydrogen, also green hydrogen, that can be utilized for ammonia formation. So this is our decarbonization technology, what we have. Then coming to this, our one product that we have, this catalyst, that is our patented catalyst. So this catalyst, you can you can get more efficient, and it is more efficient and high conversion rate, and convert carbon monoxide to methane, and it is a high durability product. So then next to the electrolyzer, that is called hydrospring electrolyzer. That electrolyzer, it can be utilized in different model. The model what we have developed now, that is up 2 megawatt, and number of model we can increase, and we are trying to expand it to 100 megawatt. Then coming to the another one product, that is called zeolite membrane. This zeolite membrane, it can separate out this carbon dioxide from the methane, raw methane gas, and it will separate out the methane and carbon dioxide. Okay. So that further this carbon dioxide can be utilized again for utilization, and to convert it to methane. So thank you. So I am Sambit Mohanty. So I am from Canada. So if you have any question, or if you want to discuss with me, so we will be available, and we will be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohanty. And next, I'd like to invite Mr. Sakano Takashi, General Manager, New Energy Project, New Delhi Liaison Office, IHI Corporation. Mr. Sakano will present ammonia utilization technologies. Mr. Sakano, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to present our latest decarbonization technologies to India. My name is Takashi Sakano from company named IHI. IHI is now developing a new green ammonia production project in India to export to Japan. And me, actually, I was assigned to that project and came to India about 10 months ago. And now I'm working in our partner named Acme's office now. Today, I would like to start with a brief introduction of the company and quickly move on to the main topic. IHI is founded about 170 years ago, and in the business area of aero engines, social infrastructure, industrial machineries, and chemical and power plant. Our turnover around 10 billion US dollar, and we have about little bit less than 30,000 people working in our group. Today, I would like to introduce two new technologies here. And one is how to realize clean ammonia value chain. And the other is the production of hydrocarbon from CO2 and hydrogen. This picture shows typical clean ammonia value chain from left to right, production to utilization. When everyone started to talk about decarbonization seriously, of course, one of the most viable solutions was hydrogen. But everyone may know that hydrogen is the lightest substance, and it was anticipated that the storage and transportation of hydrogen in large scale, large volume, will be quite difficult. So with that anticipation, IHI focused on ammonia almost a decade ago as a hydrogen carrier and kept developing many technologies. And very recently, we have achieved several goals, and I would like to share them here today. This is the first achievement. This is the technology to co-fire ammonia in an existing coal-fired power plant. When it comes to the feasibility of the clean ammonia value chain, it is very important, essential, to turn ammonia into something valuable like power at low cost. This slide shows that we have successfully completed 20% co-combustion of ammonia in an existing fired power plant of 1,000 megawatt owned by JERA in Hekinan. It achieved stable operation, NOx and SOx under control. And this is the only existing example in whole world so far of turning ammonia directly into power at a commercial scale. And a good point is you don't need to crack down to hydrogen, and the existing facility can be used without major modifications. And this is a second achievement. This is a development, successful development of gas turbine, which runs 100% on liquid ammonia. Here, similar to previous slide, there was a challenge of NOx control, but IHI somehow achieved the NOx control by developing a new combustor and operation method. This machine is now, even now, running in our alloy work of IHI's own and producing clean power now. Because it runs on liquid, no vaporizer is required, and it further reduces cost. And this machine is using the blue ammonia supplied by ADNOC now. And this is a joint development with GE for the heavy-duty gas turbine. IHI is supplying our own technology to GE to turn their Flame series heavy-duty turbine into mono-firing ammonia gas turbine. And if successful by 2030, it's going to be enlarge the ammonia value chain and makes all the feasibility of ammonia value chain much higher. This slide is a summary table of various ammonia-related technology we are developing now. And other than the technologies I have briefly touched on, there are other technologies such as large ammonia storage tank and ship engines run on ammonia. And those things, current status is actually on the website, so please check our website as well. And aside from ammonia, I would like to introduce one more technology. It is more on the upstream side. And this is the production of methane, e-methane from the captured CO2 and hydrogen. We developed our own catalyst to produce e-methane from CO2 and hydrogen directly. This slide shows the scaling up of our methanation system. We have already commercialized 12.5 cubic meter per hour of methanation system and sold the system to several clients already. And we have also received the order of 500 cubic meter per hour of the system, and it's going to be commissioned in next few months. And the client is JFE Steel. And it's unique that JFE Steel is developing the blast furnace and the DRI plant to use this clean methane and to clean methane ですね。Okay. で、and once if successful, this may be a good solution for decarbonizing hard to abate areas such as steel manufacturing and may open the market to new areas such as EU. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. And we are committed to develop new technologies and decarbonize Japan and India both. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sakano. And next, I'd like to invite Mr. Kimura Rei, Managing Director, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries India Private Limited. Mr. Kimura will present carbon dioxide recovery technology. Mr. Kimura, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rei Kimura, Managing Director, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries India. Today, I would like to talk about the carbon dioxide recovery (CDR) technology of MHI Group. First page showing our glance of our company, founded in 1884, 140 years back. Number of the employee company is 260, and the number of employees is 78,000 in global. Last year's order receipt is 6.6 trillion Japanese yen, about 40 billion US dollars, and the revenue or sales of last year is 4.6 trillion Japanese yen, equivalent to 30 billion US dollars. There are many pictures showing our product lines. And in topic of the decarbonizations, first one is maybe you can see the gas turbine that is for the power generation. Now we are developing hydrogen gas turbine and also the ammonia firing gas turbine. We are ready for commercialization already. And the other one is the metal machinery, in the bottom line in the middle. We have a technology also, the blast furnace, but we are developing a hydrogen direct reduction furnace. And in the US, in Europe, we already developed the validation plant, and we are in the success. And today's topic is the bottom line left end, CO2 capture, CDR. MHI groups have the core technologies essential for CDR, including CO2 capture, transportation, and compression, which aim to develop, provide one-stop CCUS solution services. So the flow is from the left to right. So our technology for CDR is post-combustion, flue gas capture, CO2 captures. And in the beginning, we have to make a flue gas treatment. We are the technology supplier for AQCS, FGDs. And we capture the CO2, and after that it's going to liquefied, and that will transport by the ship. The picture of the center showing our product for the liquid CO2 carriers. It is very difficult to transport, a little difficult for transport liquid CO2, controlling the temperature and also the pressure. Otherwise, CO2 going to the dry ice. And after the transport, that will compressed with our CO2 compressors, that going to storage or going to utilize. We don't have a unique technology for utilization, but we are collaborating with such a entrepreneur who has such a technologies. This is the flow chart of CDR process. Name is KM-CDR process. That is Kansai Mitsubishi Carbon Dioxide Recovery Process. Kansai stand for the Japanese utility companies, and Mitsubishi stand for MHIs. We made a joint development of these technologies. At first, flue gas come from stack. That is going to the flue gas quencher, DCC, that is reduce the temperature of flue gas. Yellow dot showing the CO2 and blue, the gray dot showing flue gas. And at first reduce the gas temperature and going to the absorber turbos, and solvent, amine solvent is showered from the middle of the tower, and CO2 captured through the solvent and going to the next regeneration towers. Pie graph showing our share in the post-combustion CO2 capture linked by chemical absorption method as commercial. This is our track record in global. We have 18 track records in the world, and we have 4 in the India. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, Japan, 2, Italy, and the US. That is for the CDR for decarbonization. Other ones is used for the process of the fertilizers. Those 4 track record in India is used in the fertilizer plant. That is the picture of the largest post-combustion carbon capture plant named Petronova, that in the US, Texas. And that is added on to the coal-fired power plant, 610 megawatts. And plant site is 240 megawatt equivalent. It means that like a 40% flue gas introduced to this plant. This plant is very big. The height of the observer is like 100 meters. That's capture the CO2 used for the EOR, enhanced oil recovery. And this plant is not continuous operations. That is operated on the time the oil price is high. In case of oil price is low, that the plant is stopped. And oil price going up, this plant operates and the capture the CO2 going to the EOR. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kimura. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Vikas Sharma, Director, and Mr. Subrata Bhattacharya, Senior Advisor, India Hub E-Governance Private Limited, aligned with Farmland Corporation Limited of Farmland Group. Mr. Sharma, will present PV and battery energy storage system. Mr. Sharma, the floor is yours.
Namaste. Namaste everyone. My name is Vikas Sharma. I am representing of Farmdo Private Limited. We are based in Gumna in Japan, and I am the representative of their Farmdo India and also collaborating with India Hobby Governance Private Limited and National Cooperative Union of India, which is the largest cooperative union in the world. And we have our technical partner IIT Guwahati. Okay, so my introduction of my project is called the community-based agrovoltaics with battery energy storage system. Okay, so first I would like to tell about my farm to groups. We are based in Gumna. We did projects in energy, especially in agrovoltaics, batteries, windmills, and we are also, as you can see, uh, largest uh, okay, so we are based in solar power, battery, windmill, and distribution of agriculture goods all over Tokyo. So this is our main work that we are working in Japan. In India, as a farm do with India, we doing consultancy for energy technologies, especially in batteries and as well as solar. Okay, so what exactly our company, we are company divided into four parts. Number one, the farm do. Farm do is best selling goods for agriculture goods in all over Tokyo and Gumna. And next one is the farmland. Farmland is a company that's based and working doing on the agrovoltaic side, the solar PV and the battery system. Then the farm club. The farm club is the model of the company in Japan where number of farmer can come on the one stage, aggregated their agriculture goods and then distribute to the cities. And now we are looking for the international businesses. We have a businesses in India, we have a businesses in Chile, Mongolia, Kenya, and now we are going forward with Vietnam and Sri Lanka. Okay, so these are our work. As you can see, we already did three JCM projects in Mongolia, in Chile, and Kenya. So right now we did two projects in Mongolia with 12 megawatt solar power, and we did five projects with in Chile with about 15 megawatt DC and 41 megawatt hour battery storage system. And one project that we are doing it right now in Kenya, this is about 230 kilowatt. So, and with this we have a standalone battery for the communities over there. So this kind of same we are also planning to do in India. Okay, so what exactly the India Hub, the Indian partner of do, Indian partner of farm do? Actually, we are doing some projects in local communities for the CSRs. We also working in marketing upscales for the farmers and upscales government schemes, whatever that is, FPOs and NABARD, all these things. And we are also in agrovoltaics and photovoltaics. We did project with agrovoltaics with IIT Guwahati, and already did two projects in Himachal Pradesh. And other case, my other partner is also working in healthcare system and sanitation systems. Okay, so let's come on the point what exactly we want from JCM. Okay, so we want to do a community solar agrovoltaics. As you know, the more than 50% of Indians don't have any kind of land or any kind of roof or suitable roof to have a solar power plant. So all these people have a huge problem for going to solarize their home. So by tackling this problem, we have come a solution called the community solar agrovoltaics. In this community solar, where people can come together and create a community, and they can install a solar power plant on a third place, and they can have a batteries on their houses on their consumption side, so they can generate their solar power outside the city or anywhere with the FPOs with the farmer. They can inject their power into grid, and they can take the power whenever they required into their batteries without having installation any solar power rooftop on their rooftop or anywhere if they don't have. As in India, more than 50% don't homes don't have any kind of rooftop or any kind of space that they can install solar panel. So the Prime Minister is talking about this scheme. Everyone know the Har Ghar Surya Yojana. technically that is very difficult to do if we don't have any roof and other kind of stuff. Okay, so main missions of our target is that we have to create a platform. We want to create a solution for all those 50% peoples who don't have access of these solar power from their roof. Okay, so the concept of this agrovoltaics community solar is absolutely simple. We have farmers, FPOs, who are going to produce the power. Then it is an energy management system by the India Hub, then the DISCOM, and then the community, the end user. So the FPO will generate power, give it to India Hub. India will give it up to the community, and DISCOM will transfer this power. Okay, so how business model will work? As you can see that the FPO will give power to DISCOM, and India will aggregate the DISCOM and the aggregator for the power. Then DISCOM will transfer this power to industries, commercial and residential. What would be the cluster of these community? It could be the industry, it could be the commercial like soaps and shopping malls, it could be the residential like housing society and all these things. Okay, what are the benefit for that? Why we are doing it? So number one benefit is that in India the peak energy charge is very high, and in this case, majority of our peak times, like they have to pay 20 to 25% extra charges for their power when they are doing it in peak time. Like in India, in Delhi, the peak time is 6:30 to 10:30. So if you are taking your power from 6:30 to 10:30, then you have to pay extra money. But in our case, if you have our model, then you can install battery at your site. You can generate your solar power in the daytime, store it, and then you can use it in the peak time. Number one, the grid stability. As you know, the grid stability is in India, the grid down and the load setting is absolutely reality. We have to face it in rural area, in urban area, everywhere have this load setting. So if you want to improve this load setting and get rid of it, you can have a battery system as well. So another thing is that everyone is facing problem integration of their renewable energy into their energy uses. So majority of like hotels and industries who are using their energy into night times to use AC, to use lights, but at that time they don't have any solar power plant. So in this case, they can generate their solar power plant into daytime, store into their into batteries, then use it whenever they want it. Okay, so why we need JCM? Because number one, the financial support. Right now, batteries are very expensive as compared to Indian market, so JCM finance can help them. Number the technology. Japan has a very good technology for battery in terms of battery. So we are inviting Japanese companies to in India in the batteries and the storage. Another thing is the grid reliability. In India, grid reliability is a very huge problem. So we invited Japanese investors or Japanese batteries or Japanese IPPs come to India through JCM and help us to integration of the renewable energy and grid stability. So this is the last one that I'm doing. What exactly is agrovoltaics that I'm mentioning about? So agrovoltaics is a technology where you can generate solar power and agriculture on the same land at the same time. So you don't need to waste your fertile land to have solar power plant. For example, if you have 1 megawatt power plant, you have to at least waste 5 acres of land. Okay, in our case, you don't need to waste any fertile land. In both India and Japan have a landscape because of the population and small size. We have a very less land to do these kind of projects. So in our case, you don't need to waste your fertile land. For solar power plant, you can do agriculture and solar power on the same land at the same time. So we are also some other technologies, like we are using drip irrigation with soluble implementation system, and we have a special sensor that can identify your requirement of your plant, that can transfer through your solar panel whatever the sunlight your plant is required. And lastly, thank you. So at last, what we exactly we want most business model. Number one, we can sell our energy whenever they required. Number thing is that, so in India, smart metering and AI metering is not a reality now. So we can introduce smart metering and real AI metering in India to improve our energy efficiency. So these kind of technology we would like to introduce in India. So the project is concerned. So we are looking for a project in Mumbai right now. This is a 5 megawatt solar and 15 megawatt battery, and that would be 2 cycle and it would be 30 megawatt hour energy in Mumbai. So anyone who would like to do their integration of their business with batteries, I am here. And after that, after the session, I will be available for your questions. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. So next, I'd like to invite Mr. Kunal Soni, Business Manager, Horiba India Private Limited. Mr. Soni will present the energy management system. Mr. Soni, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon all. Myself Kunal Soni from Horiba India, taking care for environment business. So let me just introduce about the Horiba first, then couple of solutions which we can cater into. So at the beginning of Horiba journey started in 1945. We were the first company launched the pH meter in Japan. Overall, if we see, it is a more than 7-decade young organization, and you can see a couple of photographs. Those are the founder and current chairman of group. We are mainly into the R&D setup, the complete solution provider in terms of the analytical solutions. The company based in Kyoto. We have globally 2.4 billion US dollar group and close to 9,000 employees. We have the global presence in 27 countries. We have the 50 group companies, and Horiba India is the 100% subsidiary of Horiba Japan. These are the three fields which we are catering into. I think we all know last couple of years the dynamic has changed in the market. A lot of new field has entered. Having the same approach will not help. So Horiba redefined the couple of field. First is the bio and healthcare. We have the solution mainly for healthcare industry, the medical instrumentation. The second, which is the material and semiconductor, we have more entry for the mass flow controllers, which is globally required for the semiconductor industries. Energy environment, which I am representing here, it is more into the automotive emissions. We have the H2I's test beds facility launched in Pune, and environment will talk about the couple of areas. This is how the journey started in India, close to 2 decades already in the country. We have a couple of offices. We have a presence in 8 different cities of the country. We have 3 state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities. We are close to 600 employees, close to 550 plus crore turnover in the India. This is the first facility we launched in 2013 in Haridwar. I think a couple of Japanese members asked me why in Haridwar. This medical factory produced reagent which is required for the hematology product line, and I think we all know the source available for the water in Haridwar. Second, we launched Nagpur facility in 2021 virtually, then last year physically. This factory was inaugurated by Mr. Fednavis and Gadkari ji. This is the 12 acres land. We are producing the Make in India instrumentation facility, also the reagent manufacturing. The third state-of-the-art factory we have in Technical Center in Chakan, Pune. In this factory, we have the total capability of the designing, manufacturing and quality assurance. Couple of photographs on the right side, you can see the product into stack gas monitoring. We have the mobile AQMS, fixed AQMS and also water quality monitoring. Again, all under the pollution control board requirement for the regulation market, we have the product available. In the country, we have more than 10,000 install base. Also, we entered in the SAARC nations, which mainly include Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan. We have a couple of areas for combustion, air quality monitoring, as well as water together. This is our vision for energy environment. We are entering into hydrogen. As I mentioned, we already launched a hydrogen testing facility in Pune in last year. We have a couple of more area into the energy storage, the fuel cell, electrolyzer, even the water quality and air quality monitoring. We'll talk a little more about the environment in today's discussion. So first field is the combustion, second ambient, and third about the water. Again, all the regulation from the pollution control board with the real-time data connectivity and also the process monitoring, we have the product line available. I think what is important even for the decarbonization, we'll talk little more, but on the dashboard side, these are the different solution available. I think couple of discussion from IHI, MHI, they mention about the few process. In each process, there are CO2 removal, methane, SO2, NOx. I think those monitoring we do on the real-time basis. I'll not go in detail, but these are the complete dashboard. Horiba is also pioneer into the water. We are the first company launching the pH meter. These are the complete dashboard. Globally, Horiba is only the company having the maximum parameter for the water quality monitoring. Coming to the carbon neutral realization, there are a couple of areas in terms of the renewable energy, new material optimization, and also the CO2 or CCU applications. These area we have the capability to give the wide variety of the solution from material semiconductor, environmental and energy, and also from the healthcare point of view. So you need any testing in the laboratory for the development in the final quality of the product, we have the solution available. On this slide, it is mainly giving the example for the CCS application, one of the example from Japan. Again, this is a amine based principle where we have the absorption and regeneration basis tower. All those circle which show the different parameter of the gases, we can do the real time monitoring by having the product line which is on the right hand side. So we can measure the CO2 removal, we can check the SOx, NOx, ammonia measurement. On the regulation side, I think the India, it is the most sensitive topic. What is the air quality index, PM 2.5, PM 10. Also, we are talking about beyond monitoring. What are the source apportionment? Okay, what are the element presence in the atmospheric air? So today we don't know what are the arsenic, titanium, different element we are breathing on the every second. So those monitoring, we have the collaboration with IITs, even the pollution control board across the country, and we are doing the studies. On the SAMES monitoring, it is mainly used for the industry emission monitoring on the real-time basis. This architect mainly shows from the stack or chimney how we utilize the data sampling, how we extract the sample by using the different technologies and give the real-time data to the pollution control boards. So this one product which is called ENDA 5000, it is a globally certified. It can measure NOx, SOx, CO, CO2 and O2 with other parameters. On the last slide, even the hydrogen which I mentioned, we have the new product line, new solutions available. If any requirement, we have the capability from the different state of the art factory from Horiba in Europe, in France, also in Japan. We can have the generation, storage, delivery, monitoring, all together we can give the consultancy on this direction. So I think that's all. Thank you. A short description. If any question, I will be available.
Thank you, Mr. Soni. So next, I'd like to invite Mr. Ravi Mishra, Senior Consulting Engineer, TLB India Private Limited. Mr. Mishra will present the steam management system. Mr. Mishra, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for your presence here today. I am Ravi Mishra, consulting engineer in TLB. Today, I will explain a little bit about TLB's steam system optimization program. Let me introduce my company first. Travel as well, this is what TLB stands for. TLB was established in 1915 Kakugawa, Japan, with the aim to develop most efficient energy steam traps, which is called free flow traps. Our business philosophy is to provide 100% customer satisfaction through providing engineering and consulting services. Our company policy is quality first and incomparable royalty. We have developed so far more than 2,000 patents, and TLB acquired ASMEN in 2010 to supply products for nuclear applications. We also provide complete consultation services, site inspection, and seminar training services. We won 3 times award from METI for energy conservation systems. We achieved this award for optimization 1 lakh condensate discharge locations, we saved energy, we saved and reduced CO2 emissions. We got this award in 2009, and second time we got award in 2019 for providing and optimizing entire steam systems. And third award we got in 2022 to provide best practice steam trap management program through our software ibpstm.net. This is our innovation. This technology called free float. This is one of the most energy efficient traps available in the market. TLV's steam system optimization program. TLV's steam system optimization program is a flagship assessment service to optimize the entire steam system through visualization. Our mission is to reduce the CO2 emissions, reduce the steam consumption, reduce the energy usage. In this program, TLV's consulting and engineering services specialists evaluate the performance of entire steam systems, optimize these steam systems with unique technologies, unique methods, and implement long-term program to maintain sustainability. As of now, till 30th April 2024, we have implemented steam system optimization program in 188 plants in Japan, and we have we have reduced CO2 emission around 4,50,000 tons per year, and similarly achieve a cost reduction in 100.5 million Singapore dollar, I think, which comes around 6,224 million Indian rupees per year. We are saving steam approximately 395 ton per hour through this program. We have visited many plants. We have visited oil and refineries, petrochemicals, and general industries. We have found that normally 460 ton per hour steam is used in refineries. And out of that, we found that there is a good scope of savings around 4.6%. And if you talk about general industries like tire, textiles, and other industries where steam consumption varies from 4 to 40 ton per hour, there is a good scope of energy saving is 12%. This is one of case history of a refinery plant. We have done steam system optimization. There was steam consumption around 760 ton per hour, and we have saved around 19 ton per hour, around 2.5% of total steam usage. And the green mark shows the our recommendation, what we have proposed, and the dotted part shows the reading of flow meter. So you can check, you can see the accuracy of our program. Normally, if we know how much we steam generate. If you visit any plant, people say we manage our production very precisely. We know how to manage. But what about steam? Steam, everyone says steam not often managed. So TLB can help to optimize entire things. Generally, if you visit any plant globally or India, anywhere, you can see this type of fixture, mostly in rainy season. So what is the principle of steam utilization? There are three principles of steam utilization: to provide to supply dry steam at required flow rate and required pressure and temperature, to discharge condensate quickly and trap steam, and fill steam using instrument with steam using equipments. Let me skip some slide because there is no much time. Generally, what we say, we just manage process utilities, like we manage turbine, we manage other process applications, but we left other areas like traps, surrounding walls, and any venting in the plant. So what TLB can help to optimize entire thing like an asset. There are three structures of steam system optimization program. First step is to optimize the condensate discharge locations where your condensate is being drained. Second step to optimize the steam usage, steam applications, and third step to optimize the entire steam system, which is called steam balance. Yellow portion shows the first step, where we recommend to optimize the entire steam system, so condensate discharge locations. It includes traps and surrounding walls, venting, etc. And second portion shows optimized steam application like turbine, reboilers, and others. And last, to optimize entire system using energy balance. This is the technology we call TrapMan. We generally use this technology for optimizing condensate discharge locations. Only this tool is designed by TLB, but authorized by third party. This is Lloyd-based certified tools. Only TLB's TTS certified inspector can use this tool. What we do basically, first we prepare a database. Then a database like we select application, steam cost, energy sink. Then we go on site and check the condition of the CDLs, means condensate discharge locations. Then we prepare the database, we do the analysis of the survey, and then we propose what is the improvement and savings. Then we do set zero reset maintenance, means we provide master log of failed areas where you have to improve. Then last, we do the benchmarking, and we also provide a simulation for 10 years. So based on that, you can see what was your situation first, and after survey, what was your situation. So easily you can identify. This is all what we, sorry, I will take just 1 minute more time. Let me skip some slide. This is very important slide for CDL optimization. Here you can see, if I visit any plants, we do the survey of some location, let's say 186, how much what good, how much is leaking, how much it is leaking, we can quantify using this instrument. And this is very unique tools what we are saying. If your steam trap is leaking, how much it is leaking, it can quantify. If you have any problem with your pipeline, means insufficient discharge, any heating issue in your process application, we can optimize through this method. Generally, we can say that this is the eye-opening for steam system optimization. After that, we provide the best energy efficient solutions for the plants. This is the simulation of if you do any condensate discharge location management program in any plant, we provide simulation for 10 years. And what was your situation? First simulation we provide at the beginning, and after implementation we also do the same survey, and we can demonstrate the saving, and we can revalidate the savings. And second step optimization is steam system optimization to optimize entire process applications to increase safety, reliability, and productivity, and to recover and reuse the waste heat. And in last, we optimize complete plants through energy balance, and generally it takes 1 to 2 weeks. What barriers that inhibit us to enter into the market? Generally, cheaper is better. This is a phenomenon in Indian market. So if you want any good technology, we have to spend. So you have to consider you have to decide your budgets based on the return of investment. This is all. Thank you very much. If you have any question, anything, we will be available here during the business meeting. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Mishra. Now, I would like to invite the last presenter, Mr. Nakajima Hiro, General Manager, Technical Nippon Steel India Limited, Private Limited. Mr. Nakajima will present cold dry quenching technology. Mr. Nakajima, the floor is yours.
नमस्कार मेरा नाम हिरोकी नाकाजिमा है please forgive me my poor English from now on I start presentation Thank you for giving me this opportunity to make this presentation. I don't have not much time, so jump into slides. This is our company. I will go straight. I want to go into the detail. Now, Nippon Steel is investing heavily in local production in India to meet the growing demand for steel. Our largest investment is ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel in India. We are expanding the capacity of our integrated steel plant in Hazira, Gujarat, and now we have already invested 1.3 trillion rupees already. And now we are planning to set up new integrated steel plant in eastern of India. Our company's friendship and business with India has been ongoing for nearly 100 years, dating back to the 1930s. This slide shows our carbon neutral scenario. In 2013, CO2 emissions were 102 million tons. The goal is to reduce this by 30% until 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. The most cost-efficient and stable process to produce steel is the blast furnace process. The other major process, is the electric arc furnace process, but there is not enough scrap, and it is difficult to produce value-added steel from scrap. So it is essential to decarbonize in the blast furnace process. That is why we are developing a way to reduce coal in blast furnace. Considering this, we have taken three major initiatives. The first one is the injection of hydrogen into blast furnace. The second one is the production of value-added steel in the large electric arc furnace. The last one is the development of direct reduction process using 100% of hydrogen. These technologies require extensive development to commercialize. Hydrogen technologies are being developed not only by Nippon Steel, but also by NEDO, other Japanese steel manufacturer, JFE, and Kobe Steel, and a group company, Nippon Steel Engineering. Therefore, it will take some time to apply this technology in India. While we develop these technologies, we are transferring cost-effective and energy-efficient technologies already developed and commercialized in Japan. Nippon Steel has an engineering company called Nippon Steel Engineering that plays a major role in reducing CO2 in our company. NSC has these technologies. Among them, CDQ, Cox dry quench equipment, contributes the most to the global steel industry. This technology corresponds to the technology number 7 on the list of 14 activities in the Paris Agreement. Not only CDQ, but also using blast furnace technology, we have developed technology to generate energy, such as steam and electricity from waste. In addition, we are able to provide technology such as biomass power plants, CO2 capture plants, sewage sludge recycling plants, geothermal power plants, e-fuel plants, and so on. Now, more than 170 CDQs have been installed all over the world. Among those, 75% of those has been installed by Nippon Steel Engineering more than 40 years. And we can provide the largest CDQ in the world, which can generate 280 ton per hour of steam. The waste of heat from the dry quenching can be used to generate steam and electricity for the use in steel plant. Hence, there will be no need to burn coal or gas to make steam or electricity. In addition, since CDQ technology has a dust removal system within itself, the emission thus can be prevented. Now, we have received orders for 12 CDQ units in India, including those under construction. Today, Nikhil Gaur, the Deputy General Manager from Nippon Steel Engineering Sales Department, will also be joining this networking session. So please ask him for more details. Today, I prepared another PowerPoint file made by the Japan Iron and Steel Federation. Another PowerPoint, please. Oh. Okay. Today, Japan steel industry have developed the technology to save energy and to reduce CO2. And 79 technologies are summarized in the technologies customized list. You can download the latest version from this QR code below. The technology and effects are listed in this way, and each technique is described on each sheet like this. The advantage of this TCL are following. The benefit of technology implementation is clearly demonstrated, and these technologies listed on the TCL are reliable, easy to reach out to further information when necessary. Today I take the sample of the list, so if you want to check, please let me know. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Mr. Nakajima. Now let's move on into the panel discussion. Firstly, I'd like to invite all the panelists to the stage. This panel discussion session will be moderated by Dr. Kojima Satoshi, Program Director of Cancer Research Center, Institute for Global Environmental Strategy, Japan. Dr. Kojima, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Shibana. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Satoshi Kojima of IGES. So I'm very happy to serve as a moderator of this session because we, IGES, are working together with Terry for a long time to promote a technology cooperation between India and Japan through a platform so-called JITMAP, Japan-India Technology Matchmaking Platform. So I'm happy to to moderate this session, which aim to discuss how to promote further environmental cooperation between India and Japan with various stakeholders, including both government and private sectors. So first, let me introduce our distinguished panelists. From left side from you, Mr. Milind Deore, Secretary, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power, India. And Mr. Iino Satoru, Director, Office of International Carbon Market, Global Environmental Bureau, Ministry of the Environment, Government of Japan. And Mr. Navin Arawat, Chief Procurement Officer and Head Green Hydrogen and Gasification, Jindal Steel and Power Limited. And Ms. Sugandha Jaiswal, Resident Executive, Tata Steel. And Dr. Rambabu Parabastu, Co-Chair, FICCI Environment and Climate Change Committee, and Chief Sustainability Officer, Greenco Group. And Mr. Takahashi Akito, Senior Representative, Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA India Office. Okay, so let's start this session. So first, I'd like to ask a question to Mr. Deore. So Mr. Deore, so could you tell us about your initiative to promote like decarbonization, so sustainable society, and then also could you explain your expectation for the Japanese government and the Japanese company to to support or to contribute to your initiatives.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, it's really very pleasure to be here for this very important panel discussion. India and Japan is already working since long. I think, as I understand, this is the longest collaboration India-Japan energy dialogue which I have been seeing in more than 20-25 years. It's been going on. And in B, I'm working since 2012. I'm being handling this all programs with Japan on various parts. Bureau of Energy Efficiency, you all are aware that we have started many initiatives for promoting the energy efficiency in hard to abate sectors, particularly industries. And one of the initiative is, which you well aware about, that is the Perform, Achieve and Trade Scheme, which is the first of its kind program. It was launched in 2012, and now in the 12 years of journey, we have achieved a great success. Means almost 25 million tons of oil has been already, equivalent energy has been already saved through this single program, which contributed to CO2 emission reduction to almost 100 million tons, 110 million tons of CO2 emission. And the investment which has been generated through this single program for energy efficiency and energy conservation projects into this large industries is almost 10 billion USDs. So apart from that, Bureau has also done a lot of initiatives for bringing the energy efficiency in MSMEs as well as the large industries. In the current context, yes, we have a target of net zero by 2070, and we need to be set our path for that net zero. But at the same time, we need to also have a target by 2030, and we need to see that how we can achieve that, the immediate target as well as the 2070 target. But rather than immediately jumping to the net zero, we need to have first low carbon technology path, and definitely Japan and Japanese industries technologies will definitely help Indian industries to achieve this low carbon path, particularly into the hard to abate sector as well as in MSMEs. Some of the examples are already there, and just we have seen it, this example of the Nippon Steel, particularly in the steel sector, how it has been helped in us in many ways. We are working with Energy Conservation Center of Japan for developing the energy conservation guidelines for large industries as well as for the MSMEs. And these guidelines has been developed in collaboration with ECCJ, and we have learned that these guidelines are being adopted by MSMEs as well as large industries, and we are also trying to push it through systematic programs into that one. Now coming to the recent initiatives which we have been taking, one is the development of our own domestic carbon market. You all are aware that Government of India through Bureau of Energy Efficiency, we have already notified the carbon market, and very soon the domestic carbon market will in operation from, I think, another 6 months time. Maybe we will have a first set of compliance target will be issued for some sectors, and then the offset market will be also operationalized. Again, in this journey for the carbon market setting up, we may, I think, get a lot of support from Japan, and we hope this partnership will continue.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Deore. Thank you for sharing the your initiative, and then also you mentioned about a lot of record of environmental cooperation between India and Japan. So thank you very much. So now I'd like to ask Mr. Ino. So so as Mr. Deore mentioned about technology cooperation, so I'd like to also further ask you how Japan and India cooperation can promote like a mutual beneficial like a society future, like sustainable society with decarbonization in both, not only in India, but also India and Japan. So could you explain?
Thank you. Okay. So thank you very much for having me again. And as a secretary, and Kojima-san said, we have a long history, and IGS is working on JITMAP, and it's a basis. We can use it as a basis for future development of JCM as well. And also, as the secretary said, Energy Conservation Center, it's a Japanese institute, and also NBE has been working together to formulate a guideline on energy conservation. So we have already a sort of a history. And as you can see today, there are a lot of Japanese companies who are very much keen to further collaborate toward net zero. So we have we have a history, and we can use a history as a basis, not only just about technology, but also as a sort of a basis of our mutual confidence or respect. And on the issue of future development, well, today we have had lot of potential projects or services, technologies. Of course, green energy is including ammonia and hydrogen. It's essential for industrial energy transformation, of course. And of course, we can't forget about the solar with storage. And perhaps it's not only for industry, but also for livelihoods or farmings. And also for hard to abate production process, as the secretary said, for example, cement, steel. Of course, the process not only about utility, energy, but the production process itself needs to be transformed to completely different phase. And we need a sort of innovation. And also for hard to abate, carbon dioxide removal is essential. And it's another difficult part, but definitely we need. And also we can't forget about waste management or water supply, sort of a sanitary area. And this is, of course, this can play a very essential role in improving the quality of life. So for industry and for livelihood of people as well. So because the carbonization is also a set of the whole society. So industry, of course, far important, very important, and of course, but at the same time, the society itself, whole society, it's the people's lives, and also related to crediting scheme. So these services or technologies that are referred today, most of them are all aligned with 14 items referred in morning session. So they have distinctive features. So more efficient and more stable and resilient for use, and more have more excellent quality of as material. So it's for example, it's light and it's resilient, it's easy to use, and with robust accounting mechanism or operation. So sort of not only just about GHG reduction, but also about operation, the quality of the material or energy. So this is also very important, sort of attractive for industry or livelihood as well. So crediting mechanism again can be a catalyst to facilitate collaboration between India and Japan, and that's going to bring huge money, which is necessary to realize both carbon neutrality and economic growth, because it's going to be triple, as everyone said. So India already giant company, but it's going to be far further giant country. So, but I don't say we don't. I mean, the ministries or governments do not have a role. We have an important role to coordinate the multi-stakeholder involvement. There are numerous hundreds stakeholders are here. There's someone who works for not only their interests, their own interests, but for everyone. So we want to work as a coordinator. and we want to make sure all the documentation reporting to the United Nations, everything sort of administrative work is smoothly done. So having said that, I hope it helps. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ino. So, yeah, thank you for your very comprehensive like view. Not only, yeah, of course, the importance of like a technology or industry we discussed today, but the importance of livelihood and then so broader scope of like sustainable future is very important. So, thank you very much, Mr. Ino. Then now, I'd like to solicit views from private sectors from like Indian companies. So first, so I'd like to ask Mr. Arawat. So could you briefly illustrate your technologies contributing to decarbonization? And then also, could you tell us your expectation for Japanese technology and also Japanese like cooperation?
Thanks for the question. The first question is about the decarbonization. See, we are the fourth largest steel manufacturer in India, and I am pleased to inform that we are running a world's only coal gasification based DRI project in Angul in eastern part of India, and we already have basically three approach. First is basically the short term, right? So short term is about how we can reduce and how we can avoid the CO2 emission. So our existing operation, the focus is on the operation excellence and the energy efficiency, right? And energy management. This is the bucket one where we are focused. Operation excellence is how we can convert waste into wealth. So when I say waste into wealth, it is about valorization of the slag that is coming out from the blast furnaces, from the electric arc furnaces, the flue gases coming out from the blast furnaces, from electric arc furnaces, from the BOF, the basic oxygen furnaces, and from the coke oven gases. So that is super important because there should not be any waste. There should not be any, the low temperature, high temperature calories that is going waste. And in the previous presentation, I think one of the presenter, he was explaining about the role of the steam traps and how we should valorize the steam, how we can minimize the steam. So this is basically the first bucket, and we strongly believe that for this to do, it is not about incremental capexes. It is not about incremental money that we require. It is a small incremental 1 to 2% money that can really help us. Number one, the payback it is in months. It is not in years. It is like 2 to 3 months. That is what we have believed. Second, it not only it not only increase the bottom line, it also help to reduce the carbon intensity. So that's our bucket one. Bucket two is about deployment of renewable energy, because we are already in the advanced stage of learning curve. Solar has been matured, wind has been matured. So we as a company, we are deploying 2 gigawatt of solar farm in Bikaner in the western part of India, and this project will be commissioned by middle of next year. Second is deployment of 1 gigawatt of wind energy in Karnataka in southern part of India, and this project will also be commissioned in 1.5 years. So the idea is that how we can use this renewable energy into our operation. The moment we start doing that, we'll be able to reduce the carbon intensity by at least 15 to 20%. And these are the low hanging fruits, quick wins, which we strongly believe has to be deployed on the short to medium term. Then coming the heavy lifting that have to be done in terms of carbon capture utilization and the deployment of blue/green hydrogen. So on the carbon capture utilization, I'm pleased to inform you, and that is also the part of the second question, that we are probably the only company in the world which is capturing more than 3,000 tons of CO2 per day. So when I say capturing, we are capturing, we have got the high, the 99.5% is concentration CO2 available, but now focus right now is how we can utilize this CO2 into the various chemicals in form of ethanol, methanol is one bucket. Second bucket is on the biological side, how we can make important crude algae oil or proteins coming out from these algae. So that is the second focus. Third is how we can use this CO2 into fixing it basically for the sequestration. So that also, because we are all the major steel producer in India, they are in the eastern corridor, basically in the eastern part of the India, right? So we are right at the pit head. So all the coal mines are pretty near to us. So we are working quite closely with Niti Aayog and IIT Bombay, how we can use this CO2, how we can sequester this CO2 into those stranded coal blocks. So that is the second thing that we are doing, and we also invite partners, Japanese partners, who can help us. So this CO2 is absolutely available with us, and that is where we believe that from short to medium term, the CO2 can be valorized and it can be used to reduce the carbon intensity plus to make important chemicals. Because for all the chemicals like ethanol, methanol especially, India import 1.5 million tons of methanol into India. Ammonia, we import close to 2.5 million ton of ammonia. So all the chemicals can be the definitely the focus. Then the part about the hydrogen part of it, I am pleased to again inform that we are putting up India's largest deployment of electrolyzer, alkaline electrolyzer of 30 megawatt, and this project will be commissioned by end of this year, early next year. The idea is the already synthesis gas that we are producing from coal gasification. The idea is how we can increase the carbon intensity. In synthesis gas, we already have 52% hydrogen. So we are starting from position of strength, right? 50 from idea is how we can move from 52% hydrogen to 100% hydrogen, and this is one of the steps that we are taking, that how we can increase the deployment of electrolyzer. And this 30 megawatt electrolyzer is the first phase of the project that we are going to commission by early next year. So that is the second project. And the last project is about one of the presenter from Japan. They were saying that one of the option that they are exploring in Japan is how they can put the hydrogen into the blast furnaces, which is actually the main steel making route. Still 70% of the steel that is being manufactured in India, in the world, that is it is through this blast furnace and BOF route. So what we are doing in our Angul plant is we are going to inject synthesis gas into the blast furnaces. This project will be commissioned in next 4 months, and we are going to inject the synthesis gas into the blast furnace, and we'll check that how the blast furnace is going to behave. The moment we'll streamline the chemical kinetics, the thermodynamic behavior in the blast furnace, we will again increase the syngas from 30,000 normal meter cube to 50,000 normal meter cube. So I think these are the comprehensive steps, short term to medium to long. That is what we have planned, because we have taken a target to be net zero by 2047, and all these actions that we have planned is very much aligned with this overall goal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arawat. So yeah, it's very helpful to your distinction of like short, medium term, and then long term, and then it's illustrate what the potential like contribution areas. Thank you very much. Okay, so now may I ask Ms. Jaiswal? So first question is the same, like could you illustrate your technology, decarbonized technology? And second question is more about like specific issues or barriers to need to be addressed for more effective like technology cooperation between India and Japan.
A very good afternoon, everyone. I think Naveen sir has almost told about all the major technologies that we have been using in steel industry, and in fact JSPL is doing so. I think moving forward, Milind sir has also focused on the two important aspects, like PAT was a very beautiful system that came in various manufacturing sectors. Steel has done very well in it, and now we are moving ahead with the carbon credit trading scheme, where sectoral targets will be again given to industries, and with the technological boom that will be present, we can reduce on the carbon footprints. So coming back on Tata Steel, so again as JSPL, we have also divided our plans into three terms, which is short term, medium term, and long term. So short term is a plan which comes by 2025, where there will be a huge shift in the business models that we play. So EAF is one of the routes that we are focusing right now. So in Ludhiana, we are coming up with zero point 0.5, almost 1 MTPA EAF plant, which will be a scrap based EAF plant. Second will be the adoption of best available technologies and improvement in the existing processes to maximize the waste heat recoveries, maximum utilization of the byproduct gases that the steel sector generates. So talking about steel sector, I'll just take half a minute to we talk about renewable energy, but steel is a very peculiar sector altogether, because we generate a lot of our internal gases, like BF, coke ovens, and we utilize those gases in the system and to generate captive power even. So and if we don't use it, again it will be flared, it will be increased it will increase the emissions in the environment. So we use the circularity economy in our own system. But though steel sector is doing a lot, signing MOUs with different renewable energy sources. So even Tata Steel has signed an MOU with Tata Power to develop 765 megawatt of renewable energy captive power generation. So coming back to Tata Steel Netherlands, so in line with our ambition to produce CO2 neutral by 2050 in Europe, we have announced our ambition to switch to hydrogen-based steel making. So we plan to gradually phase out our blast furnaces by replacing them with a combination of DRI and EAFs. So again, like JSPL, Naveen sir has told that they are working on the CCUS. So we have also installed a 5 TPD pilot plant, which has been successfully commissioned in Tata Steel Jamshedpur. So we are even working on the continuous injections of CBM in one of our blast furnace. So there are various technologies that we are working around. Talking about hydrogen injection into the blast furnace, so we have successfully done the pilots of injecting hydrogen in the blast furnaces even. So coming back to the question of Japanese technology and how they can maximize their technological boom in India. So I think there are few takers of Japanese technology in India. I mean, though CDQ has become a massive hit in India, but I think as a Japanese technology provider, they should come up with Indian environmental circumstances also. There are things which India needs it, which cannot be done in Japanese country, but uh, as per the environmental circumstances in India, so Japan technologies can come in that ways even. And again, a competition with South Korean and Chinese industry is one of the hindrances for Japanese technology to come up. So these are the two bottlenecks that I would like to point it out. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So also that you pointed out a very important aspect of like a synergistic view between circularity and also decarbonization. So yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Jeswa. So now I'd like to ask Dr. Pravastu. So from a business federation perspective, so could you briefly explain about the future potential collaboration between Japan and India in the business association cooperation?
Thank you. Good afternoon. As you would have noticed, I wear two hats. I co-chair the FICCI's Environment and Climate Change Committee, but I am also Chief Sustainability Officer at Greenco. Firstly, about Greenco. Greenco operates today 10 gigawatt of renewable energy in India and is building around another 10 gigawatt of pumped hydro storage across various facilities. It's around 2 gigawatt of pumped hydro storage will be operational by April this year. And it is also its sister company called AM Green. We are building 5 million tons per annum green ammonia manufacturing capacity at 3 different locations in India. And we are extensively exploring all kinds of green molecules like methanols and SAF, etc., etc. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay. Let us come to India's economic situation. By 2050, when the world wants to get to net zero, India would at least be triple the size of this economy by that time. So 2 times this India we still need to build by the time we want to become carbon neutral. So it's a huge challenge for us. So while building this new economic infrastructure, okay, we need to look at net zero, and we need to look at all kinds of deep dive technologies, deep decarbonization technologies and build our growth, we need to build it decarbonized. I wouldn't say net zero, but we want to build it decarbonized. So that is the reason why there is a thought process in India. That is, we have an NDC, which is a short-term goal, 2030 goal, which may have to be updated by the time we go to Brazil, right? And we also have 2070 net zero goal. So our domestic market and domestic action will be mostly towards meeting the short-term goal, while the deep decarbonization methods, measures that we adopt, that will be for international transfer. It will be funded by international transfer of mitigation outcomes. And that is the reason why we have the thought process is actually now coming to FICCI. Before we went to Glasgow, COP26, FICCI submitted a position paper to Government of India, where it has argued for implementation of the Article 6, okay, 6.2 and 6.4. And we also said all those measures that we need to take for net zero, they are absolutely essential for going to net zero, but they have a very large viability gap, and those should be put into Article 6, okay, international transfer for mitigation outcomes. And that is the how that 13 categories earlier was notified, and now it became the 14th category. One more category was added very, last 8 months ago or something like that. So that is the thought process in India. And the point that I want to make is that while India is building its new economy, a significant part of that economy will be almost what first movers club all over the globe is already doing. So it will be looking into SAF, it will be looking into methanol, it will be looking into green steel, and various variety of activities that you have seen, okay, you heard about. So now the question comes is that what is the kind of cooperation that India and Japan will have? Okay, to me it looks like don't tie all the time. Definitely, India requires the Japanese technology. India will require Japanese finance. Second thing I want to emphasize, whether it is JB or no, we require your finance. And the third thing is that we require your offtake, your markets. Your markets for green ammonia, you should preferentially start looking at India, not Saudi Arabia, Australia, and Brunei for green ammonia. You should start looking at India. Recognize that the India produces today the lowest cost solar power. It has a national grid. It is building up huge energy storage infrastructure, and it has the architecture of producing green hydrogen at the lowest cost. In fact, some of the architectures, the Greenco, is able to arrive at almost like a $3 per kg kind of an architecture for green hydrogen. Hence, the green ammonia can be, sufficiently. Sometimes we may lack some infrastructure to transport green ammonia, but rely on us and provide us the offtake opportunities into Japan and finance opportunities into Japan, and the technology transfer opportunity amongst ourselves. So that is one of the important part of the cooperation. Now, the third point is that what is the role that JCM can play? So I'm coming on to that. So the majority of these deep dive technologies, whether it is the green hydrogen or offshore wind or solar thermal, I am talking about those 13 categories: carbon capture, utilization and storage, or it is the CBG, compressed biogas, which is also part of those 14 categories today. I think they are all, some of them actually have a very high carbon price. Carbon price means what is the emission reduction and what is the viability gap. Viability gap divided by the emission reduction is the carbon price, right? So if I look into the carbon price, much of it, some of it is at least $100+. Some of it is around $30-40. So some that are $30-40, like a CBG or something like that, okay, can be very immediate targets for us. And some of it which is of a high, some 100+, I think government of India already recognized and started giving certain subsidies and incentives on top of it. And if you're off-takers start paying some part of the premium, and the remaining can be supported by the JCM carbon. So it is very, very immediate at an association level, industry to industry level. I think we should interact with each other and come out with a set of portfolio of carbon induced, okay, low hanging fruits and carbon induced deep dive decarbonization technologies. And then I think the government of India will be more than willing to support us to go forward and make the JCM a success. I see this as a path for the cooperation going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Paravastu. So your macro view has said highlight actually the potential of this cooperation, because the gap between like Japan, India's economic growth requirement and then this zero carbon the net zero societies has a requirement. There are huge gaps. So of course, in addition to India's effort, but also like international collaboration, including Japan-India collaboration, can play very significant role. So thank you very much for your very clear view. So then I'd like to ask Mr. Takashi about so JICA has provided a lot of technical cooperation. So I'd like to ask you to illustrate the overview of JICA's contribution.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kojima. First of all, my name is Akito Takahashi, Senior Representative of JICA India Office. I am overseeing JICA's infrastructure projects in India. Thank you very much for inviting me to this important seminar. So as the executing agency of Japanese ODA, JICA has been contributing to socio-economic development of India by promoting clean and efficient technologies. For example, in the energy sector, JICA supports clean energy projects such as renewable energy generation and electric vehicles by providing green finance through our private sector investment and finance scheme. In the water sector, to respond to rapid economic growth and urbanization, we are supporting infrastructure development for safe and clean water supply and wastewater treatment facilities. Also, JICA is actively working on urban railway sector, which contributes to easing traffic congestion and reducing greenhouse gas emission in major cities such as Delhi and Mumbai. So these are infrastructure projects. Major part of our cooperation in this country is focused on infrastructure. And our projects have contributed to supporting environmentally sustainable economic activities. But to further mainstream investment in clean and energy efficient technologies, I'd like to expect a strong initiative by the government to promote or even build in these technologies when planning new infrastructure. I think it is also very important to raise awareness and share common understanding among various project stakeholders, including central and local government and project beneficiaries, and also private companies for the necessity of this investment. So taking this opportunity, please allow me to introduce one of JICA's private partnership schemes. When Japanese companies consider business opportunities with JICA, there are several options such as direct contract with us or participation in Japanese ODA loan projects. In addition to this, JICA has a scheme named SDGs Business Supporting Survey, by which we support survey costs for Japanese companies, mainly small and medium-sized enterprises, to develop business models that contribute to solving social agendas of the client country. Currently, in India, in total, 9 projects, including those in the water and environment sector, are being implemented under this scheme. By utilizing JICA's network and experience with working with the Indian government, Japanese companies can collect necessary information of Indian market, check the suitability of your products, services, and develop business models. Due to time limitation, I cannot explain in detail, but for those who are interested in this SDGs business supporting survey, please feel free to contact to our office. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Takahashi. So yeah, I'm very happy to know the JICA's like very effective contribution to India's development. So sorry, because of time limitation, I wanted to ask another round of question, but because of time limitation, I have to wrap up this session. So I think yeah, with very like insightful like input from all the panelists. So what I believe is how to say that we can realize how to say the like synergy between like government sector and private sector. How to say look the same direction for the sustainable and decarbonized society, and then also like a private sector has a very clear like view of like a short term and then long term view, and then like business association and then development agencies like JICA effort kind of has say like collaborate together. So I hope today's panel session can deliver some like optimistic view about further cooperation between Japan and India. So thank you very much. So thank you for all the panelists. Thank you very much for your insightful input. So yeah, please return to your table. Yeah, thank you very much. So I close this session. So yeah, I'd like to return the floor to Ms. Tachibana.
At the closing of today's seminar, let us invite high-level speakers from Japan and India, Mr. Matsuzawa Yutaka and Mr. Manish Sharma. First, may I invite Mr. Manish Sharma, Chair FICCI, Resources Efficiency and the Circular Economy, Chairman Panasonic Life Solutions, India and South Asia. So, Mr. Sharma, the floor is yours.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yutaka-san, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to meet you. I understand that it was a engaging and an insightful day today, and I take this opportunity to thank all the participants for precipitating dialogue around this very important topic. And I'll structure my speech into three parts. The first one would be to give you an idea of what is resource efficiency and circular economy industry coalition. And second will be that the priorities and the activities which have recently gone past since REC-IC came into existence. And third, in general, what's happening within the country and the opportunities which are opening up in line with building sustainability central to business activities which happen in the country. And before I do that, let me quickly introduce myself. I lead Panasonic in India. My Japanese colleagues would know better than anybody else of the purpose of existence for Panasonic. It has existed for more than 106 years, 107 years. We were founded in 1918. Our basic business philosophy was defined by our founder almost 75 years before, and it still continues to be very relevant, becomes the very reason of our existence. And I'll take just about a minute to share our basic business philosophy. It states that recognizing our responsibilities as industrialists, we will devote ourselves for the progress and development of society and well-being of people through our business activity, thereby enhancing the life throughout the world. That is what the reason of our existence has been. And in line with the agenda of sustainability, Panasonic has recently announced a program called Green Impact. And there we have divided our activities, actions, and commitment into two phases. One is looking forward towards 2030, and the second one is looking forward towards 2050. And our mission is to create an impact by 2050, which will be almost equivalent of the emissions which are 1% of the current global emissions. So that is the kind of impact which we are trying to drive. Coming to Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Industry Coalition, as the name suggests, this is a coalition and this is an industry-led coalition. And the announcement for formation and the necessity for formation of this coalition happened in the backdrop of G20 when India hosted the G20 summit. And the Honorable Minister for Environment and Forest and Climate Change, together with his counterparts, announced and gave this responsibility to industry to lead initiatives which essentially will be in the first instance precipitation of common challenges and of course opportunities, and in line with this the policy interventions which industry expects to be announced or catalyzed or implemented. And in this whole process, how can industry take the initiative rather than essentially leaving it to policymakers, and how can industry take the responsibility to implement in a time bound manner the matters which will be precipitated across this coalition. And in the first instance, we were lucky to be part of the founding members, and FICCI was then entrusted the responsibility. And for my colleagues here, while FICCI is also one of the co-organizers on this forum, so I'm sure you have a visibility, but FICCI was again founded in 1927 and happens to be one of the apex industry chambers in the country. And then in that backdrop, ministry actually entrusted the responsibility to secretariat this coalition to FICCI, and I found myself very lucky to be chairing this coalition since its inception. Uh, we all came together, all the founding members, and then subsequently we formed a steering committee, and I'll welcome anyone who wishes to become part of this coalition. It's a global coalition, and amongst the members, we are about to closely touch 100 in terms of number of members, and they cut across almost all the geographies coming in from the world. So I invite my Japanese counterparts to, and we also have some members who are coming in from Japan to become part of this coalition. So when we sat together, including the formation of the steering committee, we charted a very clear agenda for ourselves and built priorities for ourselves. And in the first instance, I think there is significant disparity in terms of the knowledge and the actions which say large corporations continue to drive in line with their responsibility. And how can we look at sharing these benchmarks, these knowledge repositories, which say small and medium enterprises? So we took that as the first priority, that how can we look at sharing the benchmarks, the case studies, the good practices in specific with companies who have the willingness but do not have as much resources. And in line with this, we created a lot of knowledge documents, knowledge papers, white papers, and we invested time in encouraging large companies, and Unilever came forward and started to lead one working group. Huhtamaki started to lead the packaging working group, and so forth. Hindustan Petroleum, which happens to be leading petrochemicals organization of our country, is starting to lead the one of the working groups. And as I said, the idea is initially to precipitate insights, case studies, benchmarks, to encourage other small companies to also participate in this whole process. And the second one is to then in this whole process find out challenges. And in an environment where this coalition cuts across geographies of the country, how can we look at a policy recommendation which does not hinder uh, anything which is on a global level? And that is the second step. And third, obviously, is to start to measure the progress and clearly make ourselves, including all the members, responsible for the activities which they do. So as I said, I'll encourage everyone. We have a website, Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Industry Coalition. There is information available on that website. Please write it to us if you wish to become member with the coalition. And finally, I believe the topic of the day is that how can we look at improving, enhancing, catalyzing the public-private partnership. There can be a lot which can be spoken, and I'm sure the panel would have discussed, and several engagements would have resulted in these insights. My point of view on this particularly is that without a very strong objective collaboration, a time-bound action plan between the public and the private, uh, we will not be able to move the needle as fast as we should be moving. And I'll just leave the audience with one very small example. For example, the world, including India, talks about moving towards energy security. And it's imperative that it can only happen with energy transition. But even in a situation we start to manufacture a lot which goes into, say, variety of domains of energy, it is generation or it is storage or it is management, uh, till the time the supply chains are not de-risked, we will not be able to drive energy security even through energy transition, including if at all we start to manufacture in the country. And there I think India and Japan come as natural partners. And I'm aware that not only the repository of technology and knowledge which Japan possesses, but their understanding of the value chains and supply chains, for example, into battery storages, can be immensely beneficial for both the countries for a common agenda to drive sustainability for our future. So with that, I will once again thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak, and wish you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. So may I now request you to welcome and honor Mr. Matsuzawa Yutaka, Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs, Ministry of the Environment, Government of Japan, with a green certificate. Mr. Matsuzawa, may I ask you to come to the stage? Yeah, the green. Yeah, the green certificate is a FICI initiative wherein a growth of 10 trees will be planted at the Trees for Ecotourism Scheme India in the name of the Honorable Vice Minister. So, Mr. Sharma, thank you very much. Okay, now may I invite Mr. Matsuzawa Yutaka, Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs, Ministry of the Environment, Government of Japan. Mr. Matsuzawa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for your introduction. I'd like to begin by expressing my gratitude to all of you for attending this seminar today. Mr. Sharma and Mr. Diore, I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to you and Fitchi, JCCII, Terry, IGES, and OECC for their cooperation in organizing this event. Today, I am pleased to see that many prominent Japanese companies have presented promising decarbonization technologies and projects. Many of the companies presenting today have Indian subsidiaries. Moreover, we are honored by the participation of key stakeholders in Japan-India business relations, including Fitchi and GCCII. This demonstrates the strong relationship between Japan and India in the field of decarbonization, business, and economic growth. I believe India and Japan, we are the natural partners. Japan recently updates its NDC, setting targets to reduce emissions by 60% by 2035 and by 73% by 2040, linearly reducing emissions toward net zero by 2050. I understand that India has also set ambitious targets, aiming for a 45% reduction in emission per GDP by 2030 as part of its path toward net zero. With cumulative non-fossil fuel energy supply and additional carbon sink. Decarbonization on a global scale cannot be achieved by the efforts of a single country alone. It is vital for countries to join hands and work together. One of the most effective approaches of international cooperation is accelerating of public and private investment through crediting mechanisms. We see great potential for projects in various fields in India, such as energy efficiency in the industrial sector, green hydrogen, waste management, and biogas. Today's presentations by companies from a wide range of sectors expressed both their strengths and their challenges. We have a presentation from Canadevia, Mr. Mohanty. He described e-methane, green hydrogen, and green ammonia production, engineering and technology. Mr. Sakano from IHI, he described green ammonia value chain and hydrocarbon production, CCUS, including e-methane. Mr. Kimura from MHI, he explained the carbon dioxide recovery and CDR carbon dioxide recovery value chain. India have governance, Mr. Sharma, and Farm to India. He explained agriculture and solar power. So-called community-based agro volatics and community-based battery energy strategy. Mr. Soni from Horiba, India, he explained the Horiba's function as a solution provider through real-time data connectivity on CO2, hydrogen, and other products monitoring. TLB India, Mr. Mishra, he explained the steam management system, the role of the energy efficiency improvement in production process. Mr. Nakajima from Nippon Steel explained the expanding steel business in India and blast furnace decarbonization and coke dry quenching with technology customized list provided by Japanese steel industrial sectors. And on the at the panel discussion, we see a lot of very constructive exchanges. Mr. Diore, Ministry of Power, he describes the low carbon technology necessity. I think it's a transition toward net zero. And Mr. Satoru Ino, he claimed that importance of the decarbonization in whole of society, as well as energy, transport, and industrial sectors. And he also explained government role as coordinators. Mr. Harwat Jindal Steel Power, he described the structure of the decarbonization in steel sector from short-term, mid-term, and CCUS and hydrogen technologies as well. Ms. Jayawal Tata Steel also explained the effectiveness of CCTS and short-term, medium-term, long-term perspectives on the decarbonization of steel sectors. Finally, Dr. Rambaba, Fitchi co-chair, CSO Greenco Group. He describes the total pictures of decarbonization in India and expectations on Japan on requiring the technology transfer, financing, and offtake as a buyer of green ammonia or green hydrogen. And our partner, JICA India, Mr. Takahashi, he commits to the JICA's role on the public-private partnership in investment in clean technologies. Thank you very much. And on the, sorry, very long closing, but Mr. Sharma, he explained very important philosophy or culture, responsible philosophy or culture of industry in India. And Fitchi is taking very important role to enhance or encourage the industry members toward responsibility. And finally, he also explains the importance of public-private partnership on decarbonization, particularly in energy security concept, context, and value chain supply chain relationship between India and Japan. And he kindly explains our relationship is a natural partners. Thank you very much. And we'd like to catalyze the investment from Japan to India through establishing the JCM framework between Japan and India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matsuzawa, for your closing remarks, concluding and closing remarks. This is the end of today's seminar. Thank you very much for your participation. Until 4:30, business networking is held at the ballroom opposite side of this seminar room. And the companies, including today's speakers, welcoming your visit. We hope you can utilize this opportunity for your future business opportunity and networking. And the coffee and some snacks are provided for facilitate your active networking or business discussions. Lastly, the questionnaire is prepared by the Secretariat. Please scan QR code or click the URL on the agenda here and provide your important feedback on the seminar. Your important feedback is very much highly appreciated. Again, thank you very much for your kind participation. Thank you.